Welcome everybody to our latest session of Dragon of Icespire Peak. Apologies ahead of time. I probably sound a little bit off as I'm just getting over an illness, so I'm kind of at the tail end of that, so just bear with me. Hopefully we'll be all good to go by next week. But as usual, we will start with a quick recap of what we did last week, and then we will jump into our session proper. So when we started our session 2 weeks ago, actually, as we missed last week due to that illness, but 2 weeks ago, the group started off being on the outskirts of Phandalin, and they had seen this large shadow overhead in the shape of a dragon. So the group was making sure to position themselves as best they could, knowing that they didn't want to get struck by another breath weapon from this dragon, as some of the group has already encountered the dragon before. As the group was sort of moving their way through this path back down to Phandalin, jumping in through some of the heavier crop fields, and trying to get some cover, the dragons did indeed descend. Most interestingly, though, instead of breathing on the party, it seemed as though the dragon breathed a gust of cold breath onto the path that extended and created sort of a sheet of ice that extended a far duration. In the sheet of ice, there was chunks of rubble and other accumulations of snow and ice and so forth, and it seemed almost as though these things were just slightly wiggling. In short order, these shapes, these circles, these blocks, this rubble, whatever it was in the ice, began to break free, taking the form of small ice creatures that had wings and small diminutive frames, but flew out and tried to attack the group. As the dragon tried to stay at a distance doing the same, the group was able to hit the dragon for a significant amount of damage at range, both hitting it with arrows and hitting it with some magic, and eventually the dragon decided it had had enough and decided to fly away. The group could tell that they had almost killed the dragon entirely before it was able to swoop very low to the ground and continue flying away and escape the group's wrath. The group then cleared up the rest of these icy creatures and destroyed the last of them before deciding to make their way back into Phandalin. Once the group made their way into Phandalin, they were able to determine that there were some folks, perhaps even more than before, that were actually ill in town, and there was a slight greenish hue in certain areas. And as the group deployed some of their abilities, namely detecting poison, which I think was Gorlami did that, which detect poison and disease, the group was able to determine that there were certain areas of the town that were triggering as though they were diseased, and certain individuals, in particular the proprietor of Barthen's Provisions, seemed to be very ill, as did some other folks around town. The group made their way into the Stonehill Inn and spoke with Toblin and noticed that there was an old gentleman there in the corner kind of sipping at some soup. The group decided to discuss amongst themselves what to do, and eventually decided to speak with this old gentleman. He explained that he was actually from a land far away, and he was a procurer of talent, and he was looking to hire some folks. That it was not a time-sensitive type of a mission, but if he essentially made it be known that if the group was ever interested in taking him up on this offer, he would be happy to hire them. And the gist of this mission was to head back to his homeland and adventure, you might say, or plumb the depths of this supposedly magical structure. He indicated that this was a structure that supposedly has no bottom. It simply keeps going down further and further and further, or at least nobody has ever found the bottom before. And there's some type of artifact to be found in the depths of that bottomless area. It was an object of some kind that could actually create money. It was said that if gold was placed in it over a period of time, that gold would be duplicated. And this obviously would be an incredibly potent item, in particular for this gentleman and his lord, who he said is always strapped for cash, trying to maintain his lands and have enough soldiers to protect the lands and that sort of thing. So the group thought this was kind of interesting, but of course wanted to still hang in this area at least until the dangers of both the orcs and this dragon were dealt with. So the group had a discussion of deciding whether or not to head out looking for the dragon, as they had it was Aomir who was able to get a rough idea of where the dragon would likely be based on his knowledge of dragons. The group also was concerned about this illness around town. Was able to determine that the area to the northwest of Phandalin, where there is an area where they grow the fruit, an orchard, that's the word I was looking for, an orchard. So as they grow the fruit there in the orchard, and they use that to turn it into cider, when this greenish rain had fallen down on the land some time ago, it seemed to suffuse into the land and into the crops, the greenery, the trees, the foliage, almost everything that was living. Some people were very struck and ill. Some of the crops and things seemed to be affected. So overall, this is very concerning, as obviously the fruit in this orchard is turned into cider. The group had recently purchased some cider in the Stonehill Inn and drank it, and were not experiencing any immediate effects, but were concerned about this, knowing that once they went over to the orchard, several of the fruit hanging on the bushels did seem to be, or hanging on the bushes, I should say, did seem to be targeted with the same disease. With all this information in hand, the group also swung by Barthen's, noticed that Barthen was very ill, eventually went to Barthen's home where his wife was there, said he was very sick. Gorlami made his way in the back, spoke with him briefly. The wife explained that Barthen had been ill and seemingly had taken a turn for the worst. His body was very hot. It was like he had almost like a bad fever, and there was a slight greenish tint to his skin. Gorlami, noticing this and putting two and two together, decided to try to purge this illness from Barthen, but was not successful, as it seemed as though this illness was very potent. So Gorlami had tried to use this magic as best as he could, but it just did not seem to be powerful enough. Hard to say if this would work if it was cast a second time, or if there's something else more potent needed to actually be able to clear this out. So when we ended 2 weeks ago, the last session, the group's decision was to search around town for some way to aid the town in curing them of this illness. And once that was resolved, then make their way over to where the were-rats had originally been before they were pushed out of their area by the orcs, and is supposedly a shrine nearby Conyberry, off to the northeast of Phandalin. So folks, that's our quick recap. Does anybody have anything they would like to add that I missed there?
So Golami couldn't openly stay at the inn, so Finnegan had to run upstairs and make a elixir for Gorlami to consume, and he could use alter self. And I don't know if he turned into a human or variant human. I don't know if that matters, but he did something like that so he can sleep.
Yes, good addition. Go ahead and take inspiration for that, Finn, as yes, Gorlami did have to hide his appearance. Not that the Toblin had explained that he would much prefer that Gorlami's not in the inn, as the whole town is up in arms right now at the presence of orcs, being that orcs are what is causing all of these issues nearby. And the Toblin had asked Gorlami to find somewhere else to stay. So with this transmutation magic, switching Gorlami's appearance, he was able to make his way upstairs and relax, and then in the morning, kind of same deal to get out of there. All right, anybody else have anything they would like to add?
If no one else does, I already get inspiration because of the journal, but I did want to mention that I did detect poison and disease while we were in the room talking, and we had our food and drink and the cider and stuff, and while we were in that room and talking, it didn't seem like anybody detected as poisoned or diseased, including the food. So to our knowledge, we don't believe that we are poisoned, but we do still have the threat of lycanthropy on a couple of our companions.
Yes, yep, good addition. And yes, go ahead and take inspiration for your entry into Gorlami's guide there. All right, if there is nothing else to add, then folks, let's bring us over to the Phandalin map and get started. All right, team, so you're currently nearby the orchard. As you guys will likely recall, there was this sort of plan about trying to perhaps distract the orchard farmer guy here who's maintaining the orchard. The Josephine was sort of speaking with him, trying to just watch what he was doing. He was a very ornery fellow, and he eventually agreed to let Josephine essentially just watch him. He seems to be just complaining as the rest of the group was trying to kind of sneak around and see what they could find out.
Did we lose Adam?
Nope, I'm still here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Cut out a little bit at the end of the
Yeah.
sentence.
Cut out a little bit there at the end, Adam. I didn't hear what you finished with, sir.
Oh, that's not good. Unfortunately, my cable is a little bit shaky here today, so hopefully that doesn't keep happening. But yeah, so you guys are currently at the orchard, and you are looking about, kind of scanning around the orchard and the fruit, seeing if there's anything additional you could learn here while Josephine was distracting the farmer.
Yeah, I think I, based on the last little rolls there, it looked like I had used a spell slot to cast Detect Poison and Disease. So I think I was able to confirm that there was a good concentration of the orchard showing as diseased, right? Or poisonous.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so I'll make my way back around. I guess like we're over here, so I'll make my way back around to this town green area and try to wave Josephine over as we make our way over there.
So Josephine, as you're watching this farmer, you can hear him sort of muttering under his breath about people distracting him, and don't they know how busy he is, and people should just leave him alone. And eventually you hear him like just throwing out random people's names and talking about how they're such a pain, and this whole issue reminds him back in 20 years ago. Like just real ornery fellow that seems to be all in on his own thoughts.
I let him keep talking as long as he does, pretending I don't know he's talking about me. But if I see Gorlami wave me over, I'll turn to him and say, "Hey, this has been really fascinating. I learned a lot today. Thank you so much. You're keep it up. You're doing great." And then I'll bounce.
He just gives you the sort of side eye as you make your way back to the town green.
I give him a little cheeky salute.
Is Kurtu with us?
Kurtu is actually in the Stonehill Inn, but I'm trying to remember, Kurtu, was there something particular you were trying to accomplish at the end?
He's with Finn. We split up.
Yeah.
I was gonna go talk to Toblin to tactively say, "Hey, let's not serve the newest cider quite yet until we figure out what's going on."
Yes. So back, we'll flash over to the Stonehill Inn then, as the two of you are there, and as you have that brief conversation with Toblin, go ahead and throw a blind persuasion check here, Finn, as you sort of discreetly try to imply that maybe it would be wiser not to sell the cider so quickly. Remember to have your token selected, top left.
I thought I did. I hit it top left.
Oh, if you did, then maybe the scripts have crashed. One moment.
Just take the better one, Adam.
Actually, I don't see either rolled, unfortunately.
You want someone else to try? See if there's something wrong with what he's doing?
I mean, if somebody wants to throw a blind check, but I'll reset them one way or the other.
Yeah, I'll throw you a blind. It doesn't mean anything, but do you see this one?
Nope.
Okay, it sounds like the script crashed then.
Yeah, I see all three. Well, at least it's probably fine part.
It sends the message, but he's not getting
Correct.
the back end that he needs.
Yep, so I just reset it. Let's go ahead and try it one more time. Hopefully it's not like an actual script issue and it was just a sandbox issue. There we go, perfect. All right, good deal. So, yes, you notice Toblin kind of gives you this odd look for a moment here, Finn, but maybe it's the fact of the way you said this or some indication on your face. You see he kind of like purses his lips for a moment. Yes, I suppose we could do that.
It'll just be till my friends get back, and then we'll have it all sorted. Thanks, good job. I'm gonna go meet my friends now. Come on, Kurtu, let's go.
I've got to take the afternoon off again. I know. Not employee of the month anymore. Okay, let's go.
And you notice he kind of smirks a bit, Toblin does, behind the counter as the two of you exit from the Stonehill Inn.
What's the news, Gore?
He's so good to his employees.
You were employee of the month? For what?
Well, I started the thing, and I started it. I nominated myself, and he didn't disagree, which means acceptance. And I haven't gotten it since. Yep.
That shows great initiative. Come on, there's our friends.
Adam, while we were waiting for them to cross over the courtyard there, are there any bushes or anything nearby that I can see outside of the orchard that would? I know that they're not all, but can I find a bush that is pinging to me as diseased and has some of that residue on it? I wanted to see if I could get Kurtu to assist me.
Yeah, certainly. It's pretty common as you're walking through. Again, to visualize this, you probably see hundreds of little plants or little bushes as you're walking through. It seems like maybe one out of every 50 or so you can see this ping of this diseased indication, and this looks like so it's been affected by that rain.
And when I look at the bush, is it something on the bush, or does it seem like the entire bush itself?
Give me a blind check as you investigate this bush and see if you can determine anything more about it. All right, Gorlami, as you sort of lean down, knowing that this is a poisoned or diseased object, you're kind of careful with this, or you try to be careful, but as you're investigating this, you kind of slip a little bit in the slickness of the ground and actually fall and smash right onto this. As you do, you can feel almost like this green gook seems to cover your chest as you smash into this plant. It's almost as though you've squeezed the juice out of an orange, perhaps, when you landed on this. Go ahead and throw me a Constitution saving throw.
Joy. That wasn't that one, I'm assuming, guys.
All right, so yes, you have this green stuff sort of covering you on your chest here, and if you can think in real life how when maybe you're a little bit sick, you do this like Vicks Vapor Rub like right on your chest, and you get that sort of menthol that you kind of breathe in. It's sort of like that, but really terrible. So as odor sort of going in, it just feels really off, and the little whiffs you get kind of make you a bit nauseous.
Can I try to get Kurtu to brush it off of me? Kurtu, do that thing. Will you scrape it off?
Yeah, I'm not touching you, but I could use my magic if you want me to try to clean it off from you that way.
Yes.
All right, so you're attempting to use prestidigitation to essentially clean. Are you wearing like a tunic or something, Gorlami, or is this straight up armor?
It would be like chainmail over a tunic, and it's kind of like a leather tunic, I suppose you could say.
Okay, all right, so you're trying to clean this object. 1 cubic foot, so you can clean a section of it. Yeah, so as you do this, you notice the green seems to almost like seep into the leather. It seems to like embed in it, so the surface looks dry and clean. There is a little bit of maybe excess that wasn't within that range of the prestidigitation, but yeah, it seems like overall it's been cleaned.
Let me know if you want me to burn the armor or anything like. Well, I mean, when you're not wearing it, of course, because sometimes this stuff just stays, no matter what. It just does.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy new clothes for under my armor. I don't like having this on me. But yeah, that confirmed it though. There's definitely poisoned orchard. These bushes are poisoned. It looks like you come in contact with it, it will get on you, obviously.
Do we need to bring some to be able to prove it to people? Maybe they don't take our word for it. I don't know.
I think there's a good enough amount of people who are sick. It should be able to convince them nonetheless. But let me go over to Lion Shield Costa. Let me see if they have any clothes.
Well, I think we need to tell the orchard man first that his orchard is poisoned right now.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it while wearing a poisoned tunic.
Oh, well, we can stay, right, peoples? We can sit here and tell him that it's all poison while you go scamper away and change your clothes.
So, Adam, I'm gonna go over to Lion Shield and see if they have any kind of like explorer's clothes or traveler's clothes or anything like that.
All right, as you're making your way off of the green and heading down in this direction and heading towards the Lion Shield cost, or actually, you'd probably go this. Well, no, we'll say this way. Front door is right here. So as you're making your way down this way here, Gorlami, you get to like this alley. You might think of it as this area between these two buildings. You notice that there is a man sort of doubled over, and he seems to be doing this like heaving, as he's got one hand like braced against the wall, and then his like head's pointed downwards, and you can just hear this really heavy like breathing and hacking.
Would this be within the 10 minutes? Would I still be able to see if he's detecting poisoned or diseased?
He's not within 30 feet of you from the path. You could certainly walk that way if you wished.
Yeah, I'll try to get within 30 feet, I suppose.
All right, yeah, so you start walking a bit closer here, and sure enough, as you look at him, he does indeed seem to show as being diseased.
I'm gonna slowly walk up to him with my hands up and say, excuse me, are you okay?
And you see he turns and looks, and you can see that there is like vomit on the ground right in front of him. And as he turns and looks at you, you can see his cheeks are like very hollow and very pale. You can see a slight green tinge as he opens his mouth. It's as though his tongue is covered in a little thin layer of bile, and his teeth have this sort of green sheen to them. And you see he looks towards you and he says, "Oh, this is a bad one. This is a..." And you see once again he kind of doubles over, and this time as he like expels this just vomit and bile from his mouth that hits the ground, you can actually see it almost like kind of for just a brief second, it almost kind of sizzles on the ground here, and he falls to one knee and he looks towards you, and as he does, it's almost as though you can see the light just goes out of his eyes as this entire flush just kind of comes over him, and you see as he does, he just kind of falls to the ground and all of the color seems to drain out of his body.
Oof, okay. I don't want to create a scene. I'm just gonna kind of try to back away, back towards my group. I don't want it to seem like the orc found the dead guy, you know what I mean, in a town full of people who don't like orcs. So instead of investigating too close by myself, I'm just gonna take a few steps back and turn and walk back towards my group.
You got the same clothes that you had when you left.
Did you forget?
No, I got around the corner there, and it looks like this disease took somebody. He literally died in front of me. I didn't want to be the one who found him on my own.
Oh shit. Did you like check his pulse or something? Make sure he was actually dead?
Don't you have spells that, from your god or somebody that can heal people?
I can. Let's go together.
Together is better.
Hurry. Where?
I'll point him out to him. I'll take him back and point him out.
All right, as the group makes their way back over this way, stepping through this path here, and then kind of making their way down between the two buildings, sure enough, you can see what looks to be a body now, and it looks as though, and you can tell, girl, from when you just saw it moments ago, it's as though it's rapidly depleted. You can see the skin is really sunken in very badly, just wrapped around the bones very, very tightly. The body almost looks to be desiccated, as though it's been drained of all of its fluids in a very short period of time. There is this small pile of bile or vomit right in front of the corpse, so that is still there, but looking at the body itself, you almost get the impression of something completely drained of all fluids.
We should get Tomlin.
Shit. Well, I don't blame you. That doesn't look like something that could be fixed in a few seconds.
Oh, I also didn't want to touch it. Everything I do would require me to touch it. We should get Tomlin.
I can do it with not touching him. I could at least give some health to him.
I don't know if that's gonna matter at this point.
Yeah, he looks like roadkill, and even I don't touch roadkill.
I think it's best if we try to get Toblin to see him here, now, as is. And the town master needs to know also.
Well, I don't know the town master, but I know Toblin.
Did you tell him about the cider?
I did. He said it's a good idea, and he's not going to serve it until we come back and tell him.
Well,
Investigate.
The orchard is definitely poisoned. There's a lot of the apples are showing the disease.
Okay, I don't know if Toblin's going to leave his business to come into an alley. It would take a pretty high persuasive role for me to get him to do that.
Tell him that the food and drink he's serving to his customers may kill them. I think he'll be persuaded enough by that. It's a short walk.
Okay.
If you say it loud enough and the people inside will hear, then it will definitely make him want to go and check.
Okay. I'll try.
Are we sure we want to cause a huge panic here?
No, I'm not going to say it out loud. I'll try to do it privately. Okay, be right back.
I'll go with you.
Oh yeah, the employee of the month. That would help.
Yeah, it's been a couple months, but yeah.
All right, so the two of you are going to make your way to the Stonehill Inn.
Yep.
All right, as you do so, passing through the door to the Stonehill Inn, entering into the common room, you notice Toblin behind the counter once again. You can see that there's a few different patrons kind of sitting around, and you notice one of them is at the counter actually speaking with Toblin at the moment.
Okay, I'm gonna walk behind him and tug on his pant leg.
The gentleman who's speaking with Toblin?
No, Toblin.
Okay, so you want to try to make your way behind the counter and then pull on his pant leg?
Yes.
All right, yeah, so you head back towards the area where you have worked before in the kitchens, kind of, I imagine this sort of like small swinging door. And as you pass through, you kind of try to get his attention by pulling on his pant leg. As you are getting closer, you can overhear this low conversation between Toblin and the gentleman at the table. And the gentleman at the table is seemingly speaking about this very issue, about the sickness that is in the town at the moment. As you pull on the pant leg, you notice Toblin kind of looks down towards you and says, "Oh, I did not see you come back here. What is it, Finn?"
Yeah, do you have a moment? Just private, 30 seconds.
Oh, yes, I suppose I could spare the time. Dexter, if you could excuse me for a moment.
Hey, Mr. Toblin. So, my friends, they figured it out. The orchard is poisoned by that green rain. It's the orchard, the Edermath orchard. So, and we found someone throwing up and died in the alleyway outside of Lion Shield Coster. Come look, and so we could help solve this, and maybe we could help the people so they'd stop eating apples and the cider, the new cider, not your old cider.
You see he looks towards you as Dexter has walked away a bit at one of these other tables, and you see he kind of looks at you with a bit of a frown for a moment and says, "Pardon me if I may say so, but it doesn't really sound like you figured too much out. You say avoid the cider. Yes, we can certainly do that, as all of the fruit there is turned into cider for consumption by the town. We can certainly hold off on doing that. And I'm sorry to hear that you have found this individual who has died. I'm afraid to say it is not the first person that this has happened to. I think the bigger question is, how do we stop this, or is it contagious? Is it being spread from person to person?"
That I don't know. Kurtu might know, and I'm just pointing at Kurtu.
I know that we checked the well water, and the well water was clean, so that's good news. But I don't know how else to stop this, because maybe we can find some people that know how to get rid of poison and things. But I don't know how to. But there's gotta be a remedy. But my gosh, people can't be eating those apples. And there may be more food too. I don't know. I mean, squirrels. I mean, maybe you can't eat squirrels right now.
Yes, that is going to be a challenge, but I'm afraid we don't have the type of abilities in the town here that you would hope for in a time like this. I am sure in the larger towns, if this rain has affected them as well, that their powerful spellcasters, their priests and archmages and such are dealing with these issues. But unfortunately here in the back area in Phandalin, we are not very high priority. If you can come up with some cure or remedy for the town, it would be very well received, but other than doing what we can, have you found any way of being able to identify that which is unsafe to eat?
Well, sorry. Well, so far, it's just the apples. But I will say this: I created a device that can purify food and drink. Now it's small portions, but as part of the Stonehill Inn, it would be a safe place to eat if I were to purify food and drink. It would take like 10 minutes or so to do it per, I don't know how many volume, but I figured out a way to do it.
Finn, what about that lady at the windmill? I think she was really good with herbs and stuff. When you were visiting her, do you think that she maybe knows how to solve this?
Yeah, didn't she help, oh my god, Bryn?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so many Sundays ago, but I remember that she was good at this stuff, so maybe she knows something.
Well, and we'll see if we could figure out a way to heal people, too, okay? Is that it, Kurtu? Let's see, tell him that the orchards, that there's a dead guy. Did I get everything?
I'm trying to think. I think we're okay. So we know that new apples are not good. Squirrels are probably not good. I don't know anything. I don't know. But we're on the right track.
Okay, we'll let you know if we could find some way to cure the people.
Yes, that would be most beneficial.
Now, part of the problem is that Gore, he's the one that's got some magic, so he's able to identify some stuff. So the problem is some of the people don't like him, so this is gonna get tricky.
Yeah, Gorlami can walk around and tell what's poisoned, what person's poisoned, or the food or water's poisoned. He can just do that with his god's help.
Well, that would be quite helpful as well. Is there any way we could get him and yourself to spend some time here in the inn, identifying any food before individuals eat it, and then if it is bad, you say you can cleanse it?
Yes, I have this powder. Well, if it's powder, yes, I can do it, yes.
Would you be willing to spend a few days here and see if we can't solve this issue?
I would be honored to. I love Phandalin. I would hate these people to be killed. I would, yes. I'll talk to Gore.
Right, Gore. I'm afraid, as I've told you before, that people are quite superstitious here in town. And, well, I've already heard some passing comments about the sick people being greenish hinted or hued, and orcs happen to be green-skinned.
Well, I guess that would be half the choice. I mean, to trust him, right? And to fight against those stereotypes and fears of something that is unknown. He's a good guy. What a great way to overcome this hindrances that people tend to have. It's normal, but just let him try.
Can't you use your magic to make... Well, I know it may not last too long if I remember right, but I don't know. Maybe we can, take off one of his horns or something? And I don't know. I mean, maybe we can hide his... I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Well, if he's detecting this issue, then perhaps we keep him in the kitchen out of sight of the common folk. We could spread the word around town that everybody is to come to the Stonehill Inn for a quick check-over, and any food or water that they are going to drink, we would have them bring it here. We could have a waitress take it from them into the back in the kitchens, where Gore could determine whether or not it is a problem, and if so, then Finn, you could cleanse it, and maybe in a period of time we'd be able to cleanse the town.
I was poisoned, and it did last. For me, I was sick for like a day or so. I mean, it was rough, though.
Yeah, but this guy died.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
not
serious.
everyone's a Dragoran. I mean, they don't have the stomach like I do, you know.
Okay, I'll go talk to the group, Toblin. Thanks.
Yes, let me know what they decide.
So as we leave, I kind of skip off the front step. Hey, Kurtu, looks like I'm going to be Employee of the Month now.
Oh, well, I was the first.
All right, and during this time, the rest of you guys that are hanging out near the Lion Shield Coster, is there anything in particular you're doing?
Watching the body to make sure it doesn't get up and bite us.
I'm gonna go and complete what I set out to do. I'm gonna go inside Adam and see if I can purchase some clothes.
Yep, yeah, so if you're just basically trying to replace the shirt or tunic that was covered with this liquid, say, 2 silver pieces, you can get a new shirt.
Cool. And then if I sell something, it's half PHP prices because I got a light crossbow for no reason in
you
my
can,
inventory. Cool.
So as you're watching carefully here, Josephine, the body does not move, does not seem to react whatsoever. Like I say, it almost looks like just completely drained of liquid, and it's very eerie in its stillness.
Is the bile doing anything, or is it just like, yeah, that's a pile of vomit? Because I know we saw well, I don't think I was there, but when Cat's body was covered in the stuff, it was like moving and stuff, so would I have noticed anything like that?
It doesn't seem to be moving. Maybe it's slowly, sort of getting absorbed into the ground here, but nothing supernatural or mysterious.
Nothing like autonomous.
Correct.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, eventually, group, you meet back together with Gorlami having its new shirt and Finn and Kurtu having their plan from the Stonehill Inn. We will assume they fill you guys in without having to repeat that entire story. What is the group's plan?
I guess, Finn. I mean, I don't mind waiting a couple of days, but
I
what do we
think
do
if we
about the
don't,
people?
there won't be half a town.
But what do we do about the people who are already sick? I think we need to go get. You said the lady in the windmill. What was her name? Adabra? Agatha? Something with an A, right? That's a good
Yes.
idea.
Maybe, how do we send a message to her?
Bryn's fast. What if we send Bryn?
Yeah, it's a great idea. Where is she?
She's been very quietly following you guys.
She's sleeping it off again.
I think if we spend some time purifying what is poisoned, that's a good idea. But we need to figure out a way to help the people who are already sick. So maybe she can brew up a remedy.
Okay, no, that's a great idea. Bryn. Well, someone get Bryn.
Well, she shouldn't go alone. I mean, I know that was a recommendation by me, but I don't want that to be on me if something were to happen.
It's less than a day's walk. I mean, if we need her to help out, I feel like we can go there and back, right?
When we first went there was a giant griffin that almost killed us.
Manticore.
Manticore, yes.
Well, I'm not.
Why do you know that, Gora? You weren't there.
I read it in the journal, and I fought 2 griffins. That's where he's getting it from.
I'm not a monsterologist, okay?
Either way, we should bring her back. See if she can help.
Well, I think
Maybe Miza can go with Bryn.
Yeah, I can't heal the town people, so I can go too, and Josephine, you can come with me.
At that point, we might as well all go, because otherwise we're going to be splitting the party.
Well, real quick, I mean, Finn, you've created a lot of potions and things. Are you sure that you couldn't take a crack at maybe creating an antitoxin? I mean, you got the supplies, don't you?
Well, no. It only like heals people, doesn't cure people.
Yes, but you have a set of alchemical supplies in your room, right?
They're right here in my. Yeah, they're right here. I lift it really high above my head.
So what would you need to create a antitoxin? Some infected things? I don't know how it works. Could you do it?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, Brian doesn't know. Maybe that's what these tools are for, huh?
I mean, if we bring her, I mean, all she is an apothecary, so she would do something similar. She would create some kind of remedy using herbs.
But she fixed your
So-
friends of
True.
the same poison, so she knows how to do it.
So I am proficient and have the following kits: poisoner, herbalism, alchemists, and then cooks, tinkers, and thieves. But poisoner, herbalism, and alchemist supplies. Maybe I can reverse a antitoxin. Is that a thing in PHP? Everything's a thing in D&D, right?
Yeah, there's always down to some dice rolls. It just comes down to the mighty DM and what he determines.
Well, I would say start off with what it is that you're trying to do. So when you say reverse an antitoxin, are you saying you want to try to come up with some kind of restorative elixir that would cleanse this ailment?
Yeah, with maybe the bile vomit that this dead guy has on his
Use
teeth.
the apples.
Oh, the apples, but that's more concentrated.
I see. Okay, so basically what you're trying to do is apply a little science here. You're trying to get a base version of this illness and then try to reverse engineer it to see if you can find out what would allow you to cancel out the illness in a person.
Yeah, this is like chemistry lab in college.
Okay, so that sounds to me like research. Generally, that's done during downtime and usually measured in work weeks, so like at least 5 days of working on trying to come up with a cure for this. So you think you certainly could attempt this, but there's no guarantee that it would work, and you think it would be, it would take quite a bit of time. Like I say, at least about 5 days.
Yeah, that would make sense. So I'll say that without sounding like a little kid to Gorlami.
Well, if that's the case, then it would probably take her about the same, right?
Yeah, but she healed Bryn already she was sick, so maybe she has something concocted.
Two heads are better than one, even if she doesn't have a cure for this developed disease. We might be able to have a better starting point if she were here to tell us what she knows.
And let's be honest, she's a lot smarter than Finn. I mean, she just is.
Let's go get her then. That sounds reasonable.
And as this whole conversation's going on, you notice Misa and Bryn kind of speaking a bit off in the distance, and then Misa approaches slowly and she says, I sort of overheard all of you speaking, and I think I might be able to try to help, but I think it'll probably be similar to what Gorlami tried. So, do we know anybody that's for surely sick?
Often. I mean, it would be good to get him feeling better. We could try together, Misa. I mean, at the same time, it could work.
Maybe, yes, we could try that. Do you want to head there and see if that will work?
That sounds good. I mean, he's a good man. He's got a business and a family. Well, I mean, not much of a family, but a wife.
Okay, then, yes, if we could cure at least one person, that might, raise the town's spirits.
Any objections? Anyone?
Sounds good.
Yeah, but if you fail, it's gonna be a real downer for him, you know?
Yeah, well, I already failed once, so...
Well, we don't need to tell him about the failures.
Just because you try doesn't mean you always succeed.
Okay, so in the essence of time, you guys head back to Barthen, speak with his wife briefly, mention you want to visit him once again, and both Gorlami and Misa head back to the bedroom where he is sort of laid up and not feeling too well. You're starting to learn little bits about this disease, and you realize, Gorlami, that you will be unable to cleanse this as your ability just simply doesn't work, or it did not work on Barthen himself. Not to say that it wouldn't work on somebody else, but out of game, mechanically, this is similar to like trying to open a locked door. If you fail, generally you have to gain a level before you can try again. Same kind of deal here. However, your thought of helping her do this, you get the impression that if you were to both cast a spell at the same time, she would have to take the lead since you've already tried, but it would give her advantage on her check.
I'm down to try that. I mean, it can't hurt, right?
All right, so go ahead and burn your spell slot, and she will attempt to do the same.
Essence of chicken soup. That's great.
All right, so she will take the advantage, and then I have to add in her modifiers here. Okay, so yes, as she attempts to cleanse this, you notice that she casts her spell here, and as she's doing so, kind of hovering over him, just kind of motioning with her hand, you see she kind of touches on his temples and kind of like rubs on his head and so forth. Eventually, the two of your spells combining here, you actually see almost like a snapping type of visual. As you can see, this greenish seems to like congeal towards the center of him where her hands are, and then almost as like it's broken in this snap, it just seems to dissipate instantly. You notice his breathing goes from rapid to much easier, much slower, and more relaxed as this seems to have worked.
Huh. Yeah.
Yes! You guys did it!
Good
We're
job.
not there. Or are we?
Remember,
not paying
they
attention.
they didn't want too many people in the back room, but I imagine the rest of you guys could be in the living room while both Misa and Gorlami are tending to Barthen himself.
I'm gonna look at Misa and say, okay, I will let them know. Good job. See if he needs some water, and I'll hand her my water skin as I walk out.
Her being Misa or his wife?
Misa.
Yep, and it seems as though she's willing to stay here and tend to him.
And I walk out and I give everybody a thumbs up. Oh, it worked.
Good shit, dude. Now we only need like 200 more spell slots and the town is saved.
I put the magazine back in the rack and I said, yes, you guys are great.
So we do know one way we can make it go away, but it seems that it's not foolproof. And if we try the same person over and over again, it gets a little tougher. So perhaps we could have. I don't need to use my magic to detect it. I just need a couple of minutes to say a few prayers and chants and set up the incantation that way. But I think if we have people come in, we could find who's sick, and me and Misa can see if we can help them.
And then I could purify the food if any food that they bring in is bad.
It'll probably take us a couple of days, but I think we could do it.
I'd rather help these guys, because otherwise there's no sense in saving the town, right?
All due respect, I mean, we didn't help them much with Axholm, and when we tried to find that other place, the mine or whatever, those stupid were-rats in Don John. So this would be able to do something concrete for them. I'm down to try if you guys are.
I don't think there's a choice. I think it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
And after all, Finn's trying for Employee of the Month. Yep.
You know, Employee of a Month is just a tool that the ruling class uses to pit you against each other, right? It's not an actual thing.
Well, Kurtzu, did you give yourself a raise when you were Employee of the Month?
I don't get paid. No.
Yeah, see? The capitalists are scum, man.
Well, how about you run back to the inn and let Toblin know that we figured out a way to cure some people.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think Finn will. If anyone comes with him, he doesn't. He cares, but I don't want to sound crass. But he's just gonna run out the door, and I'll just tell Toblin that we've cured Barthen, and we're willing to help, and we'll set up this triage of the food and the people. And it sounds like a good plan. Miza's helping too.
So to try to sort of summarize this, it sounds like you guys are willing to spend some time here, measured in days perhaps, to get as many people into the inn as possible, identify those that are ill, try to cure them, find any contaminated food, purify that, and identify any type of illnesses or sickness in the general area of the town.
Yep.
Yes, but before we fast forward, do we want to discuss our plan to remove the curses from those of us who are still afflicted?
It's not much of a plan. I mean, I can do it for you.
I mean, I just don't want to fast forward through it and have Adam be like, "Oh, by the way, it's the full moon, and now half the party is were-rats, and everybody in the town dies."
Ooh, sounds like Jordan was thinking ahead. I like it.
Fair enough.
It's
I mean,
like a Halloween skit or something. It's like the medical unit's a bunch of vampires or were-rats.
I'll go ahead and I'll step up. I'll do let's see. I'll do Josephine first, and can I hero point this since I'm trying to remove the curse myself, Adam?
Yeah, you're doing it on your turn, sure.
So I'm a hero point.
Right, me, Doc.
Josephine.
I'll stick my tongue out. Have him put his finger in my mouth or whatever.
And then what am I?
So you have to make a spellcaster effect roll. So click on your token and then spell effect roll. Okay, yeah, so...
Not only am I cured, I become immune to
Never again.
Yeah, with a total of 33, yes, this will certainly cleanse the were-rat lycanthropy. And based on my notes here, I believe that Josephine was the only one in the party still affected. Everybody else that was affected has already been cured.
Cool. Woohoo!
Very good.
Alrighty, so I think, out of character, guys, I think it's a good plan. We can set up kind of like this triage and see if we can help as many people out as we can before they kill over and bite the bullet, so to speak.
All right, so what we're going to do is treat this as a skill challenge. So obviously getting everybody in the town to get into the inn, to identify people. What I will do is move from left to right, and I'll just ask you, what is your character doing? And think of your skill set and think about what your character would do to try to assist in this effort. There's a lot of possibilities here. If you struggle thinking of something, let me know and we'll come up with something together, but we will start with Kurtu. So what is Kurtu doing to try to assist in this effort?
Outstanding. I would use deception, but I don't see any option for deception. So what I'll do is I will use my insight. So when I see people getting nervous or maybe skeptical, I will go ahead and encourage them further.
I think I would call that more persuasion, if you agree.
Yeah, I can. Yep, I think that'll actually work out a little bit better for me. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was trying to go with as far as like if I see somebody that's not, but persuasion I guess is perfect. So.
Yeah, based on the way you described it, right, you're trying to identify nervous people, which you could maybe say is insight, but then trying to, soothe them and make them understand that this is all, a reasonable request and there's nothing to be worried about. That seems to be more persuasion. So go ahead and throw me a blind persuasion check.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you, so why not give it a go?
Okay, and as a reminder, in a skill challenge, if half or more of the team succeed, then the skill challenge is successful, and if not, it's a failure. Obviously, success and failure aren't always 100%, so it could be partial success or partial failure, that kind of thing. So next up, Finn. Explain what Finn is doing.
Okay. Well, Finn is gonna... This to help people get into the inn, right?
The entire effort here, so anything you think that would aid, it could be getting people in the inn, it could be convincing them that everything's all right, it could be organizing people so they're not too worried. I mean, sky's the
Okay.
limit.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to there'll be kind of similar, but I was going to use perception. So I want to perceive those who maybe aren't coming because or feeling skeptical to show up, and use some of my perceive and then single them out and try to after perceiving them and
And
not wanting to go. I don't know.
I would say that's more insight, right? Again, you're trying to determine who's hesitant, who's concerned.
Okay, so when the food comes, I'm gonna perceive as if kind of fast track this, like maybe see if this is new, old food, or even healthy food in general, and before I purify it.
Okay, yeah. So optimize when you're casting your spell to try to make it the most effective way to doing that. I think that makes sense for perception.
All right, here we go.
Okay, and Gorlami, what would you like to do in this effort?
I think Gorlami has spent a lot of time detecting this disease. He's cured somebody from it. He's fell into a bush of it. He's seen it a lot, so I think he's very, very familiar with it. So as the people come in, because him and Miza are the ones who can cure them, I think he wants to use his insight to kind of triage the situation of most ill to least ill, so he can use his powers most effectively and not have people killing off in the line to get cured. You know what I mean?
Sounds to me like that's more medicine, right? You're trying to determine who's the most sick and try to triage them and prioritize them in the front.
Yeah, I guess. I was just trying to, because there's going to be a lot of people, so I wouldn't be able to do individual inspections. So I would have to do more of a generalization. So it'd kind of be like seeing them as a group and analyzing based off of symptoms that I've seen. That was kind of more why I was going with my insight. It's more of guesswork.
I'm going to still say that's medicine because, again, you're trying to gauge who's the most sick. So
Okay.
So you can either go with medicine or you can try to think of a different reason that insight would work.
Well, I mean, it's just I'm not proficient in medicine, so I want to get as much out of my skill as I can. So let me do it this way. Since my divinity is what's going to be used to cure these folks, I want to use my religion to kind of set up a nice little area that's full of little trinkets that remind me of Moradin, different candles and sigils and runes that I carve around me to kind of give me a boost in presence within my divine nature as I'm trying to cure people.
Okay, so you're basically trying to set the accoutrements for a ritual and call upon your religious knowledge to try to make it look as official as possible and sort of inspire people for that sort of, your deities on your side in this effort.
Yeah, I'll paint like on my body and everything. Like I'll make it as super religious as I can.
Okay, yeah, I think religion makes sense there. Go ahead and throw a blind religion check.
Would it be fair if I use my inspiration for my skill check?
Sure.
So I'll burn it in addition.
All right, I will take the higher of the two then.
And I'm blind checking now. I'll go ahead and burn my inspiration as well, Adam.
Okay, and last but not least, Josephine, what are you doing to aid in this effort?
So my strength mod is -2, so that means if I don't use martial arts, my physical damage is -1. So I'm gonna punch people until they're better. No, I think, given her background of growing up with like being diseased herself as a kid, I think she would know. I'm not really sure which skill this would be, but she would like to help the people who, once they're cured, are like recovering, because it's not going to be like 100%, right? But she probably knows techniques or ways to deal with the recovery process. Just learning to deal with how you're going through your day-to-day life without being at 100%, and trying to get people along the way to, just get there faster or cope with their lasting symptoms, if that makes sense.
That almost sounds to me like persuasion, right? Because you're trying to speak with them and sort of, talk them up and give them coping strategies for their illnesses and so forth. So since we've already had somebody use persuasion, you can, but it will be at a penalty.
What if, given my background in be chilling with the hippies in the high forest, I know, like, I might know some like naturalistic remedies or something, like a survival or even a medicine thing, to help them out.
I can give you survival if by that you mean you want to go out into the woods and look around for any kind of herbs or anything along those lines that you think might be able to help assist with minor ailments.
If I do that, will I be mauled to death by wild animals?
I mean, it's always possible, but not very likely.
I'll go do that. I'm brave, and if I do run into shit, I can run real fast. So
All right.
let's do survival.
Fair enough. All right, go ahead and throw a blind check.
If I can find my token, there it is.
Okay, so the end result here, guys, is 2 successes and 2 failures. So essentially, you guys have succeeded, but it's a minor success, being that it's, again, only about 50% success for the group. So with that in mind, we started here with a D12 of the number of people in town that were actually very sick. A minor success will bring that down to a D10. So who would like to volunteer to be the one to roll this to determine how many people in town actually have this illness to the point where it needs to be removed?
Bill. Let's go, Bill.
Bill rolls low a lot of the time.
No, I didn't want to say it out loud.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, looks like Victor got here.
All right, so it turns out that there are a total of 5 individuals that have this illness to a degree that you know they're going to need to be cured before too long. So again, you've got some strategies here of how you want to do this. Gorlami, you know you have the spell to do it. Miza does as well. However, she only has 1 spell slot left that she can use on this. Total of 5 people. How would you like to attack this?
I've got 2 spell slots that I can use, and then I can channel divinity for a third, and get 2 more. Wait, hang on one second. Let me post it. Okay. You touch your auto prayer, regain 1 expended spell slot, the level of which can be no higher than half your proficiency bonus rounded up. So I can do a total of 3 attempts using my harness divine power.
Okay.
So go
Can
ahead, I'm
I
sorry.
can I heal them with healing word as they're in line, waiting to be dealt with to keep them more vibrant?
Maybe
It doesn't seem like loss of HP is really the problem here, so it doesn't seem like that's going to assist those that are truly really ill.
Okay.
So what I'll do, Adam, is I'll do all 3 of my attempts, and then I'll hero point all 3 of them to see if we can get them to work.
All right, so go ahead and throw a hero point and then a spell effect roll, and we'll see how that works for the first person. The first person is not healed. Second person is not healed.
Goodness.
Can I give him my inspiration?
All right, here we go.
The third person is healed. So as you're able to cast this time, one of the farmer's wives here, and yes, she is cured. And notice that the greenness once again seems to snap out of her, and she seems to return to normal. The 2 that you had tried to cure and were unable to do so are looking to be in pretty bad stages of this. You're not sure how much time they're going to have left. So that's 3 people that you've tended to so far. 2 of them won't, basically even the next day, your cure will not help them at all. and then there are 2 other people that you haven't yet seen.
Can
Yeah,
Miza do it?
Miza
Miza's-
can attempt it on one of the people.
Yeah, that'd be the best shot we have, is Miza to give it a shot. Use her hero point. Go, Miza.
Unfortunately, she doesn't have any hero points, but alright, she will try it on one of the people that you have not tried it on yet.
Can I help? I don't think I can help in any way, can I?
Not unless you have a spell slot or something that would somehow, benefit this.
I mean, all I have spell slot wise would be Bless that I could cast on her.
Is that what you'd like to do? Actually, I don't think Bless will help spell effect rolls, so no, I don't think you would think
No,
that
it
would
won't.
help.
It doesn't.
Okay, so
No, but-
unfortunately, Miza is unable to heal her individual either.
We got 2. We got a farmer's wife and we got Barthen. And we got 3 people who are about to die. But I don't have, I can't do lesser restoration anymore without me sleeping first. So maybe if we can figure out a way to keep them alive overnight and allow me and Miza to rest, we can try again tomorrow, but it'll be exceptionally harder.
Alright, so in total, you had 5 people that were really ill. 1 of them you cured. So there's 4 that are remaining that are not cured. 2 of them you can't try again. 1 of them that Miza can't try again. And yes, 2 of the remaining 4 look to be in very late stages of this. They do not look very well.
Yeah, we'd have to switch, right? Miza would have to try my 2 that I did yesterday, and I would have to try to do her 2 that she did yesterday, but only after we rested. So it would be a risk because they may not be there in the morning.
It is a risk, and again, choosing how exactly you do this, because obviously it costs twice as many of the spell slots, but if you both cast it, then you get advantage on the roll.
This is true. And if that was the case, if they all survived in the morning, then I would have enough to do 4 shots at it, and we could have advantage for sure. I don't know if she does though.
Her max is 2.
So we would be able to have 2 with advantage that I could do on the 2 that I tried yesterday, and then I would have to try the other 2 solo. It's doable, but that would be about our only option, unless anybody else in the party's got lesser restoration.
I doubt this is Lester Restoration like, but I have a willow shade fruit from the lady at the windmill, and I fixed her door, and she gave it to me, and my notes are kind of gibberish, but it says help with digestion or disease or something. Mortal, here I'm going to say mortar and pestle again, but mortar and pestle to get the juice out of the shade fruit, and maybe that would help. I could try it.
You sure you don't know if it says digestion or disease? I think disease sounds more appropriate. It can't hurt, You could try that overnight to see if you could help one of the people who are about to die, maybe both of them.
I might as well use it. It's been sitting on my sheet. Yeah, I'll try it. For sure. I'll start working on that right now.
Okay, so once again, in essence of time, if nobody has anything else particular to do, we will advance 1 day as you guys rest overnight. And I will ask both Finn and Josephine to roll me a D100, please. Okay, so of the 2 people that were very badly ill, one of them in the morning has passed away and looks to be once again very desiccated, as though all the liquid in their body is gone. And that person that died was one of the ones that Gore couldn't try to cure.
Dang, salt in a wound, Adam.
So specific.
I know, you did it.
You can't save them all, man. That's what triage is all about.
So there are a total of 3 that still need tending to. So how would you like to approach it on this day?
Can you give me a long rest so it can replenish my spell slot so I can see what I got?
Indeed, yes.
Alright, so the one that is pretty bad off did...
Well, how many
Finn?
very bad offs are there?
Just 1, right?
There's one that's bad off. Yes, the other two that you guys hadn't looked at yet, one of them has progressed to being pretty bad off as well. So altogether, there's 2 bad off and one that looks mildly bad.
Did Finn have time to finish his preparation of his willow shade fruit?
Finn, I would say as you kind of look at this and try to remember specifically what Adabra had told you, yes, you do seem to recall that this was to aid digestion, so you don't think this would be in any way helpful here against disease.
Okay.
All right, so I will try to assist Miza on the guy that I tried to heal yesterday but couldn't, and I'll burn a spell slot to give her advantage.
So you guys aren't even thinking about all the stuff you could do, because see, yesterday you could have had Bryn try to mana battery up back up to give you more slots, right?
Oh, that's true. I forgot that she's not here.
But all right, so what was your first attempt? You would like to do what now?
I think the one that's really bad off that I couldn't help yesterday, I can't help him again, but I can use a spell slot to give Miza advantage, right?
You can, yep. That's what you'd like to do?
Yeah, I think it's a good shot.
All right, so Miza will attempt that. This check will be made at advantage. Unfortunately, he is not restored, so now neither of you can attempt this, and it's not looking good for him.
Tell Kurtu to take him out back and say fireball. I'm just kidding. Can Miza assist me on the one that she tried to help yesterday? That
She can,
she was
yeah.
unsuccessful?
Hey, are these ability checks, Adam, for guidance purpose?
These are spell effect rolls.
No. Okay. All right.
So here we go, and then I'm gonna hero point mine as well, Adam.
Okay.
Let me replenish my hero points. Here we go. 2, so I have advantage on my spell effect roll. Big money.
Yes, you will manage to cure that one.
Okay, great. And I don't think Miza can help me anymore, can she?
She cannot.
I only got one more person that is sick, other than the one who we can't help at all, right?
Correct.
Okay, well, I'll give it a shot, Adam, and I'll hero point it as well. Oh my god. Hero points, come on.
Unfortunately, no. This does not work.
That's all I got. I mean,
Are you able to use your channel divinity to get another spell slot?
It's not that I have a lack of slots, it's I can't try it again on the same person.
Oh.
Okay, so far you've got 2 cured, 1 that has died, and 2 that you can't try curing. One of those, Miza, also can't try curing. So the only thing you have left to try is Miza could try curing the other person tomorrow, assuming they survive.
I think that's all we got.
Maybe we could go get the lady at the windmill today, and maybe she can come in today and try to see if she can help somebody.
Maybe she may have a fruit or something already.
If there's nothing more we can do, we might as well, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Good idea, Bill.
I'm Kurtu. I don't know who this Bill guy is.
He's kind of an idiot, but he comes through sometimes.
You know what? If you're confusing me with him, he's gotta be smart.
All right, group. So it
No, gang,
sounds
do
like
we
you
wanna
would
go?
like to travel to Umbridge Hill and look for Adabra.
If memory serves, we were able to get back there and back in one day, right? Or did we spend the night there?
Usually you guys have been spending the night. It's about 10 miles away. So overall, you could probably get there in a little over 3 hours. So you could make it in one day, but you'd be, hiking pretty heavily.
I mean-
Let's do it. They need help.
Yeah, we have to try, I think.
All right, so in the essence of time, once again, you guys leave Phandalin here, make your way overland to Adabra's home on Umbridge Hill. So you travel a little bit to the south and then to the east, and find yourself approaching Umbridge Hill itself. Those of you that have been here before, which I think is everybody now, as you guys were just here not too long ago, can see this sort of incline of the hill as it goes to the windmill. You noticed before as you were here, remember there was that sort of thick greenness as you guys were coming here when the rain of this devilish rain was quite potent, quite strong. That doesn't seem to be the case here anymore. That seems to have mostly absorbed into the ground. So you make your way up the hill to the windmill itself, and eventually you do indeed find Adabra inside. And after a quick conversation, she tells you essentially that no, she's not going to make her way to the town. As she lives here, she needs to hold down fort and make sure that she has a place here. And she's also a bit concerned about this illness in Phandalin. She doesn't want to go there and potentially get herself sick. However, as you guys impress upon her the severity of what is going on in town, see if there's anything she can do, I will allow one person of the team to make a persuasion check to see if she will render any aid.
Not it.
Go ahead, Kobold.
We really need your help. Is there any divine help that I can get? Your deity can't give me any love?
Mine? I mean, maybe.
I think he's asking for guidance.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if anyone has guidance.
Yeah.
I thought somebody did.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm not feeling well. Yeah, I'll touch. Well, I'm gonna cast a spell. She's gonna know I'm casting. Does that matter, Adam?
I mean, for this purpose, I don't think guidance really is going to work, because by the time you're making a persuasion check, your character doesn't know you're trying to persuade somebody at that time to be like, hey, hold up. Hey, go ahead and hit me with that buff real quick,
Yeah. Could somebody, I mean, maybe somebody can help me persuade her.
I mean, I've got no problem doing that, Kertu. I mean, she's very nice. She's helped us with the poison before. She saw how it worked in Bryn. Maybe she's got something in mind. I mean, if she's worried about it, she's probably been thinking of a way to overcome it, just in case.
Okay, so from a mechanical perspective, it sounds like Kertu's making the roll. Does anybody else on the team have proficiency in persuasion that could aid him?
I do, yeah.
All right,
That's
perfect.
what I was hoping for.
So,
I don't know who's got what, so I was like, I don't know who to ask. So
all right, so Gore and Kertu, as the two of you try to explain this issue and really call upon your strengths to convince her the best you can, Kertu, go ahead and make a persuasion check at advantage.
am I able to use a hero point?
You could, yeah.
You bet. Yep, I'm going to use the heroist of hero points. And what do I need to push for that? Just hit dice, or?
On your
Well,
character
that's
sheet,
hero
in the
point.
attack section, at the highest one, it should say hero point.
Yes, I'm average.
All right, and then go ahead and throw a blind check, and your token's in the lower left corner of this map. All right, so I'm taking advantage plus your hero point. So yes, you are able to persuade her pretty effectively here, and she does seem to be concerned about the fate of Phandalin and wants to assist in any way that she can. She is willing to offer you two vials of salve, which she tells you should help effectively, similar to a lesser restoration. She lets you know that these won't last very long, so get back and use them. If they're not used within, say, a day, they're likely to expire.
You're so kind. Thank you. Let us know if there's anything we can do for you, too.
You notice she looks towards her repaired door with a smile as she looks towards Finn.
Okay, so, we gotta get back. Thank you.
Exit stage right.
All right, and in keeping with our tradition of just kind of winging things a little bit further, you guys march your way back to Phandalin, another, say, 3 hours and 15 minutes. So altogether, you've been away from Phandalin for about 6.5 hours. As you return, obviously not much has changed in such a short period of time. You get back to town, and yes, you could certainly try applying one of these salves today if you wished.
Yeah, the guy who's about to keel over, right? He was, and both me and Maza got a big old negative on. Can I try to pump a lesser restoration into me applying the salve?
So if somebody else applies the salve and you cast the spell at the same time, you essentially can aid them and give them advantage on the roll.
Gotcha. I will love to do that.
All right, who's going to attempt to apply this salve?
And a check, is it a medicine check?
It's just a D20, honestly, because it's based on her caster level. Adabra's, not you guys's.
I can
Well, then
help.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Nope,
doesn't
it's just it's completely chance.
Who feels confident in their dice?
Got it.
I can
I
help.
rolled something good. She gave me the salve. I'm not risking anymore.
Come on, Gore, we could do it.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so it sounds like Finn will apply the salve. So Finn, just a D20.
With a hero point, right?
With a hero point, yes.
Sure, yeah, you can hero point this.
That's how it's done, boys.
Nice.
All right. And
Let's
so this-
roll a 1 anyway.
Okay, go ahead and throw another one because you do get advantage here, and you can roll it publicly. All right, so we'll take the higher of those two rolls, add your hero point, and yes, you notice that as you apply this salve, Finn, to the very ill man, with the addition of the boost applied by Gorlami casting the spell at the same time, this does indeed seem to take effect as this individual is cured.
Wow, it worked. She's really good.
Yeah, good application technique.
Good.
Nice massage.
Yeah, it's like you were rubbing up.
The way you use
Like you've done this
Timberline.
before.
Yeah.
the way you use those fingers, those are great, Finn.
If you did that with the sizzling beef, I bet you it would be perfect every time.
Oh, go on. No, go on.
Should we try the other one? I mean, I still have enough juice for one more go.
Yeah, let's do it. I think I got this. Same thing, Adam?
Yeah, if you're doing the exact same thing, sure.
Cool. I'll burn my last level 3 slot, Adam.
Okay.
And that's my hero point right there.
All right, we'll take the higher of those two. So yes, once again, with the boost of the hero point, that will be enough as you manage to cure the last one who is ill. So total tally here, as 4 of these people were cured, 1 of them unfortunately died.
That's
80%.
damn good
That's a
rate.
freaking B, yo. We just
Hey,
passed
passing grade.
those classes.
C's get degrees and we got B's.
Hey, let's get it.
All right, guys. So over the course of these past, say, 3 days in total, we'll say, as you guys spent some time, rested to replenish your curing powers, and then obviously wanted to rest again once all of this work was done. Finn spending a lot of time in the back trying to purify food as best he can. It seems as though the purify doesn't really help in purging the disease out of the food. You're able to tell that pretty quickly here, Finn, as you try to spend a bit of time doing this. Gorlami, as you spend some time in the kitchen identifying the things, you guys essentially come up with a strategy of, if it's bad, just throw it out kind of thing. Why risk it? As the purify doesn't really seem to purge this devilish disease. So you guys managed to get rid of, yeah, there you go. So I imagine a lot of this food's been thrown in the back. Maybe there's some burn barrels or burn pits in the back as you guys are trying to do the best you can. And eventually there's kind of little bits of town watch, you might almost think of this as people are going around and ushering as many people before you guys as they can. Again, for a town of this size, I don't know if I'd ever explain the total number of people here, but it's a village, so it's not a huge number of people. So for there only to be 5 people at this time who are really particularly ill is actually seemingly pretty good. Altogether, you do know that about 4 people, however, did die before anybody could get to them. So you guys saw like the one guy in the alley that died. Toblin mentioned one other person that had previously died, and sort of searching the town, going to house and trying to get people to come to the inn again for sort of an inspection. You eventually find 2 more corpses. So again, altogether, it seems to be about 9 people were really ill from this. And a few of them died. One of them from you guys' efforts trying this so a total of 5 died. But of those total 9, You guys were able to cure 4 of them. So yeah, overall, as this occurs, you guys, again, you probably notice around town after this period of time, several crops have been burned. As people, seeing Kurtu doing this, realizing the danger of eating this, maybe Gorlami walking around town even, pointing out plants and things that are infected, and people, townsfolk taking torches to them. The town eventually is cleansed as best as it can be. And again, assuming nobody's doing anything nefarious, like intentionally keeping one of these plants in a house or anything like that, you guys aren't going to Inquisition level of breaking down doors and that kind of thing. But assuming everybody's on the up and up, it seems as though disease has been cleansed from the town and the really close nearby vicinity of the town. And for the most part, life seems to be getting maybe back to kind of how it was, though again the talk on everybody's lips is this terrible disease and what could be the far-reaching effects of this. All these plants that you guys managed to burn and or just get rid of, obviously there must be other plants out in the wilderness that still have this. How long will this possibly last? Very intensive sort of discussion here amongst the townsfolk, and a lot of concerns and worries. But the immediate internal pieces of the town seem to be overall doing pretty well.
Yes.
Does the people's general mood towards Gorlami seem to have calmed a bit?
Give me a blind persuasion check to represent sort of your efforts and the impression that you've made amongst the town. Yes, I would say, again, it's not everybody. You see that there's some people, their hatred towards orcs seemingly is just irrational. It has nothing to do with you specifically. They're really just like orcs. So even as some people are talking about the efforts that you've gone to here, from purging this illness from people, identifying the ill places, you do certainly hear sort of underhanded talk occasionally, as some people are trying to make the point that sure, you might be here curing it now, but it's your people that did it in the first place. There's a lot of that, but overall I would say you definitely notice a shift where maybe before it was 70% of the town really didn't like you and 30% were ambivalent. It's probably more like a 60-40 thing now.
I'll take that. Is 60-40 enough for me to be okay sleeping in the inn?
Well, that would be up to Toblin, so you could certainly approach him and ask him about that again. If you'd like to say that you've asked about that, just go ahead and throw me another blind persuasion check. As you broach this subject with him once again, Toblin thanks you greatly for your efforts and mentions many times about how your assistance here was very beneficial, but he's still sort of holding the line that, many people in town are just not comfortable with orcs, and they just think that orcs are going to descend on the town at any moment, and having you in the inn, he still feels like it would be like a destabilizing presence. He offers you one of the areas out in the stables to be able to use as you wish. Think of it as the hayloft.
No thanks. I'm just gonna go kill all of those freaking orcs that you guys are all so worried about. I'm gonna drag them all and just pile them up outside.
Maybe Barthen would be willing to put you up if he could, since he does kind of owe you his life,
Yeah.
And some of the people died. Maybe their houses are for sale. You never know. It could happen.
Well, either way, I still think we should go take care of those orcs. I mean, at that shrine, remember?
All right,
Yes.
yeah. It was the group's plan? I know that's what you guys discussed 2 weeks ago, was your plan to head there after you'd taken care of these issues with the town. So any disagreements about heading off towards that shrine area?
Still good in my opinion.
All right, so we will assume that's what the group decides to do. So heading us back over to our Sword Coast map, as the group heads out of Phandalin, having resolved to the best of their ability this illness in the town, the group begins to make their way overland. I assume you guys have filled up on rations, water, that sort of thing. So you can assume that you guys each have, topped off your supplies for traveling. And you know roughly where this location is. You know that Connieberry is somewhere over in this area. So you know that the shrine was supposed to be south and east of Connieberry. So you guys begin making your way in that direction. So knowing that you're going to have to travel overnight, I'm just going to make an assumption here that you guys are going to travel just the typical 8 hours a day. And then once that time is up, try to find somewhere to camp, set a couple people on watch. You guys have, Bryn will actually decide to stay back in Phandalin for this portion of your adventure as you guys head off. So you will have one elf, I believe, who can stay up. Probably 2 people taking a watch, and then the elf can take the other. So 3 total watchers. I'm assuming that's all pretty typical. Is there anything special you're doing for preparations? All right, so I will assume that is sort of the general gist. So let's see. You guys would make about 24 miles in the first day. You would travel a day, trying to stick to the Tribor Trail as best you can, finding that for the most part it's very calm out here. There's nothing too interesting. Occasionally you pass by some rock outcroppings and that reminder of the great cats that you had spotted here before. You just kind of stay away from them a distance. No real issue. You guys keep a watch. Again, nothing really special happens. Maybe somebody sees like a shooting star overnight, makes a quick wish, but nothing too crazy. The next day you guys wake up, continue traveling overland, make your way perhaps about 20 miles or so. As you guys are getting closer to the end of this bit of travel, you can see that the trail here gets pretty rough, as it seems like this area of it hasn't been used a whole lot. You can tell that to your north, off the distance a little bit, you can see there's the ruins of Connieberry. So as you're getting a little bit closer, you could certainly investigate that if you wish, but you know that the shrine is supposed to be somewhere east and south of it.
Eomir, are you with us, sir?
Yet another work call.
So, are we a days away from it, or?
You're not sure exactly where the shrine is, but you know it's... Are you talking about Connieberry, or are you talking about the shrine?
We're outside the ruins of Connieberry, right, Adam?
Correct.
So about like maybe 50 to 100 feet away or something like that?
Maybe 100 yards, so you guys can see it and see the outline of buildings that have been destroyed, foundations, that sort of thing. You can make out what looks like probably what was the town square or town center long ago when this town still stood, those type of details.
And then we know that there's the shrine is to like the southeast, like you said. So, I'll look. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. In the midst of all that traveling, I would have made one, like 7 servings of the special food I have for the temp hit points.
Yep, so just go ahead and post the details of that. If everybody gets temp HP, do they have to roll, or if it's just a set amount, just go ahead and post that in chat so everybody knows.
1d8 for everybody for my special food temp.
Okay, perfect. So everybody can feel free to roll 1d8 and add that many temp HP as you eat a treat from Finn. Does that include Misa?
Yes, I can do 7, so.
Mine was extra delicious.
All right, so do you guys want to investigate Connieberry, or do you want to just travel to the east where you believe the shrine to be?
Might as well investigate. Don't want nothing coming up behind us.
Okay.
Surprises. But I think we should, but we shouldn't just roll up on the shrine. I mean, if we know there's orcs there, then maybe we find a good spot to keep watch. Look at it, see if we can see any guards or movements, maybe sneak in at night or something.
If there's a lot of orcs around this area here, I mean, first of all, I do look forward to casting Fireball. But besides that, maybe there's footprints or something. Maybe we should find out where they're going.
So the shrine is separate from Connieberry, right?
Correct.
Okay, so, well, let's check out any activity here. Does it look abandoned, and let's walk out? I think it's a good idea. And we'll check for footprints and see if anyone's there.
All right, so it sounds like you guys would like to head into the ruins of Connieberry and just kind of check it out.
briefly, yes.
All right, you begin to travel a little bit off the beaten trail here, making your way more towards the woods line, where you see sort of like the ruins and the foundations. It looks very strange, and as you kind of start getting a little bit closer, you can almost notice a shimmering on the ground here as the ruins, the foundations, all of this stuff suddenly seems to vanish before your eyes, as though there's some type of massive illusion here. And you notice that the dirt on the ground, as a little bit of a wind picks up, seems to swirl in the area. I'm going to move you guys to a map as you guys are moving on this trail. And you guys are coming from the west and you're traveling into Connieberry, which is the path to the north. So think of this as being sort of a beaten down trail in a way. So you guys were coming from this direction. You could continue traveling this way, the Tribord Trail. Connieberry was more towards your north. As you started making your way towards Connieberry is when you start noticing the foundations, the ruins, all of this kind of shift underneath your feet, vanishing before your eyes, and realizing that you're just in an area of plains where there's some tall grass, some rocks, that sort of thing. Feel free to put yourselves wherever you think you would be at this point in time based on your typical marching order.
Eomir would probably be out front. He's a resident scout, but I don't want to do him like that.
So we were walking this way, it vanished, and now we're like, whoa.
You guys were technically coming from the west, and as you start, I would say, again, you don't have to be anywhere specifically, but as you were coming to the west, you realize now you want to start going this way to get to Connieberry, the ruins. And as you started making your way just a little bit, so wherever you're at right now, wherever you mark your token, that's when you start to notice the shifting and the illusion vanishing. Okay, and I heard somebody say Eomir would be out front. I'm okay with that. Does anybody have any disagreements since his player's not here at the moment?
Oh, he'd
He
be way
deserves
up
it.
front. Yeah, he'd be like 100 yards ahead of us.
I'd say he'd probably be like, a decent leader position, because he's the scout. He would always be kind of walking ahead looking.
I would be close by him though, because I've been giving him advantage on our other marches, so he would be close to me.
All right, and if everybody's good there, I will lock our tokens. Okay, so group, as this vision seems to fade underneath your feet, you notice these ruins and things vanish, the foundation suddenly vanish. You're really just in the plains here, and you can see the ground, again, underneath your feet begins to shimmer. And you can notice that in the area that you're at the moment, there's something clearly not exactly normal here. And as the ground sort of shimmers, and you can see the sand kind of spins a bit here, the dirt that's loose picked up in this little bit of a wind. Josephine, Eomir, and Gorlami, all three of you realize suddenly it's as though your feet are in some type of very adhesive muck as your feet are stuck to something. And we will find out what that something is when we pick up on the other side, guys.
Oh boy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Gorilla glue.
See you at the break, everybody.
See you guys back in 15.
Hopefully Victor gets his ass in here for that.
All right, folks, welcome back to our second half of Dragon of Icespire Peak. The group has been traveling over land and has just found themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. And with that, we'll move us back over to the map and put on a little bit more up-tempo music. Okay, so quickest to react here is Gorlami. So, Gorlami, as you're walking through this area, and again, the ground seemingly looks like just dirt. It's like a not a really well-traveled path, but obviously some people have walked back and forth here. You're making your way, everything seems normal. You're kind of starting to turn more towards the north, when suddenly you notice again, and a little bit in the distance there, where it looked like the ruins of Connieberry was, these structures, they seem to fade away, and you realize now that underneath your feet, the ground has turned to some type of a sticky goop, and your feet are currently stuck. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Can I see like the diameter of the goop?
You cannot. No, even looking down, like you can see that your feet are stuck, but when you look at just the space right next to you, it just looks like regular dirt. You can see that both Josephine and Aomir seem to also be stuck, but you cannot tell like where a perimeter of this effect would be.
Can I try to move backwards towards where Kertu and Miza are?
As you try to move, you realize that you are currently stuck and unable to move with just regular movement.
Okay. Can I try to free myself?
You can certainly
Pull my
try
feet
to
out?
break free. Yes. Would you like?
Sure.
So yeah, I think with this you really wouldn't be able to use acrobatics because there's nothing to flip around. So I'm going to say this is straight up athletics. But yeah, go ahead and make a blind athletics check to see if you can break free.
Sure thing. Here it comes.
Yes, you do manage to forcefully pull your feet up, breaking free of this sticking effect.
Alrighty. I'm going to try to move now back to where Kertu and Miza are and say, watch out! Something sticky, stupid illusion. What is this?
Oh, wait a minute. I am so sorry. I forgot one of these abilities. No. So as you try to break free, you are unable to break free.
Okay.
You realize this is particularly difficult, aka you had disadvantage on that roll.
Gotcha. I don't think I can do anything else, so I guess I'll just have my hammer and I'll just keep trying to pull myself out. It takes my action to try to rip myself out, right?
It does, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't nothing I can do. I'll just prepare. I'll just tell everybody to stay back.
All right, before Finnegan's turn, the ground around you guys... excuse me. The ground around you guys, you notice that it shifts. And you can see breaking free from the ground here are these strange tentacle-looking objects made up from the dirt and the muck. They begin to swing about wildly in this area. And Gorlami, please give me a defensive roll at disadvantage. All right, the first of these does manage to smack into you, hitting you solidly for 15 points of bludgeoning damage. You notice as they're shifting around here, one also swings at Josephine. Josephine, you can make a disadvantaged defensive roll, please. Yes, this manages to smack into you as well for 17 points of bludgeoning damage. And Aomir, defensive roll at disadvantage, please. Yes, this strikes into you as well. So as all three of you are smacked by these pseudopods, each of you suffering some damage, we move to Finnegan's turn.
Okay, let's see. Move up here. What's going on? You guys stuck?
You didn't see those things whacking us? Hit them!
Oh, I was behind a thing. Actually, I don't see anything on my map.
You notice that the ground around you is looking very normal. Looks just like regular dirt, except where you see Gorlami and Josephine and Aomir standing. It's almost as though these little small sections that they're standing in look to be made of some kind of caked mud or quicksand type of material. You also notice these tentacles seemingly flashing around in the area, just rising from the ground itself.
Okay,
Shoot it! Cast fire on it!
all right.
Something!
Okay, I'll put my rope back and get my Zippo out. And I'm going to firebolt it.
All right, go ahead and make your attack. All right, your firebolt strikes into the ground. Go ahead and post damage. Yeah, you notice that part of the ground here seems to get singed, and you can see that it ripples a little bit, realizing that it's not actually true ground. There's some kind of material there.
Okay, and then...
Okay, Aomir's turn.
Okay, so can I use my action to get out of it?
You can attempt to. Go ahead and give me a blind athletics check at disadvantage as you try to break free.
Criminy. All right, let's do it.
You are unable to free yourself, Aomir.
Was that my action?
It was, yes.
Okay, so there's no creatures that I see, correct?
Well, from a strict definition, I suppose no. You are standing in this muck ground, and you can see tentacles are sprung forth from the ground, flashing about.
Okay. I'm gonna brace for impact and end my turn.
All right, Misa looks down and seemingly, indicates that this looks to be pretty tight. She will try to drop some pouch dust on the ground here to see if it has any effect. All right, so as the pouch dust comes down, sprinkles onto the ground here, it does not seem to affect the ground. Misa will then move a little bit closer to Finn over here and say, "Oh my goodness, what is going on? This is like something I've never seen before." Josephine.
Josephine was muted. So, for the purposes of targeting something, we don't see a creature, even though we're being bludgeoned by tentacles.
You see tentacles, and you can tell that the ground that you're standing on is mucky, and you saw that when Finn cast a firebolt at the ground, it seemed to hit some type of material on the ground. But again, if you're looking for some kind of an indicator on screen, no, you don't see anything like that.
So the reason I'm asking is because my summoning my stand hits creatures within 10 feet of me. Let me reread this real quick. It's been 2 weeks. Where'd it go? There. Yeah, so each creature of your choice that you can see within 10 feet. If I see the tentacles, would that count, or would I just whiff this if I tried to use it?
I would say you'll have to try it and find out.
You know what I'd rather do is spend my bonus action on patient defense. So I'll whack out at it twice with the whacking stick and see
Okay.
what that does.
And are you trying to hit one of these tentacles as it's swinging back and forth, or you're trying to hit the ground?
Is there one close enough to me that I can within range of myself?
The tentacles, you can think about them as like flashing around. Obviously, it's all within 6 seconds. They're moving pretty quick,
Sure.
so certainly they would come within your reach at any point in time.
Okay. But if they're moving quickly, it might be hard to hit them. So if I saw Finn hit the ground and it looked like it did something, I will attempt to hit the ground around me as well with my
Okay,
first
sure.
attack. So here comes quarterstaff two-handed.
All right, you smack down into the ground, connecting solidly with some type of goop. Go ahead and post damage. Yeah, you notice as you smack into it, it's almost like the ground roils in response.
All right, second attack.
This time, as you smack downwards, you kind of hit a rock area, and it doesn't seem like it does anything.
All right, and I will spend, as stated, I will spend that key point on patient defense.
Okay.
So I would have advantage, but if I'm being attacked at disadvantage, it cancels out, so it should be a straight roll now.
Sounds right to me.
So can't move, so that's my turn.
Okay, Kurtu's turn.
Now let's see if Bill can hit the ground.
Brace for impact! Fireball coming! I want to make sure I hit it. So level 1 magic fireball missiles.
All right, what is it that you are targeting?
I will target the I will target where I saw that the quarterstaff just hit.
Okay, so you target the ground area, and your missiles flash out and do indeed strike solidly into the ground.
Do I notice anything that caused me to believe that worked?
Yes, yeah, you notice very similar a reaction, and so like the ground kind of moves and shifts in response to being struck.
All right, with that in mind, I'm actually going to step back a little bit.
As you step backwards, you notice one of these tentacles flashes out towards you, and I will need a defensive roll.
I wanted to do it before they attacked me.
All right, yes, as the tentacle flashes towards you, you manage to evade it, Kurtu.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Okay, Gorlami's turn.
All right, Adam, I would like to try again to break free. But can I, since it's my turn and I'm making the roll, can I use a hero point, even though it's at disadvantage, to try to burst out?
You sure can.
Here's my point. And then here's my blind check for you.
Yes, this time you do manage to break free as you pull your legs out of this adhesive substance on the ground. You notice it kind of, the holes that are created as you break your legs free kind of fill up slowly as though pudding or jello is just oozing into those gaps.
Can I try to like jump, like quick hop, like as quick as I can with my feet out all the way to where Kurtu is?
Sure, yes, you're able to do so.
Okay, cool. And then for my bonus action, I'm going to cast Searing Smite on my weapon. And you see he kind of like rotates it. And as he rotates it, it starts to pick up heat. And then he catches it. And it's kind of flaring. And then it cools off. And he's ready. And I'll end my turn.
All right, before Finnegan's turn, once again, the ground around both Josephine and Eomir seems to shift as these tentacles flash out towards Josephine. Give me a defensive roll straight up.
Hit me.
It does indeed. As you will suffer 19 points of bludgeoning damage. Eomir, defensive roll from you. You will be struck as well. And Finn, you notice in this little bush area underneath the bush, one of these tentacles just suddenly appears and flashes right towards you. Defensive roll, please.
All right, I'll inspire this if I decide to. How about that? I'll go with that.
All right, it does not strike you as you spot it in enough time and avoid it. It is your turn, Finn.
Okay, I'm gonna move 5 from there, and I'm going to get my little tuning fork out, and I'm gonna hit the tuning fork. Boom! I'm gonna cast Healing Word on, let's see, Josephine, of course, at level 2. It's a bonus action.
It is indeed. Yeah, go ahead and post that. All right, so 7 back to Josephine.
And then, as my action, I'm going to get a free rope as a so interact with the object to get my rope, and then I'm going to try to throw an end of it towards Josephine.
Okay, so remind me, what do you have in your hands right now?
Nah, just a pot lid.
So shield in one hand?
Yeah.
Okay, so your other hand, you interact with the object to grab this rope from your back and kind of hold on to it with the shield hand as you lasso it and throw it in that direction. Go ahead and give me a, I would say, just dexterity check to see if you can get it in that area. Yeah, it lands basically right nearby Josephine's feet.
Grab it! Pull you out of there or something! That's my action, bonus action, movement.
Okay, Eomir.
Hey, Adam, is there any circumstances that I don't need to use my action to break free? Like, get my feet to the top.
In this circumstance, if you're trying to use the escape action to get out from being grappled, which is what you are right now, you would have to use an action. If you have some kind of spell that would teleport you, or something that would let you move regardless of being grappled, if you have something like that, you could use it.
Well, I wish I had that. I guess. So I see the tentacles coming out of the ground. Can I shoot an arrow towards the ground next to one of the tentacles?
Sure.
Would that be at disadvantage?
Well, as long as you're within 5 feet of an enemy, it would be at disadvantage.
Are the tentacles? Yeah, 5 feet. Yeah.
So again, technically speaking, I would say you don't really know. I would say you probably guess that you are nearby an enemy based on everything you've seen, though.
Based on the fact that it's currently beating the shit out of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, are the tentacles kind of like coming up and then smacking and then going back down?
Yes, but so rapidly that they're never hidden. They're always in the air somewhere.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna shoot at the ground next to what I saw a tentacle coming at me.
All right, yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I will take that 7 though.
All right, so as you fire your arrow, it does indeed connect. All right, your arrow seems to puncture into the ground here, and yeah, you once again, you notice it seemed to respond as it is struck.
All right, extra attack.
And yes, once again, your arrow will plunge into this cakey ground.
Why are you getting +2 but not the sharpshooter damage?
Archery fighting style.
Yep, yeah, he's not.
Oh,
sharpshooting
I
those.
see.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. The rest of his modifier is added into the first number. I get it.
Yeah, the reason I'm not using sharpshooter is because if I'm understanding correctly, I have disadvantage.
I wasn't. Yeah. I was just confused by the display. I'm not second guessing your decision making this time.
Yeah, this time.
All
Maybe
right.
tomorrow. All right.
Both of
So
your
yeah.
arrows have connected. Anything else on your turn, Aomir?
Yep, pop. As I kind of wiggle my feet around. That's my turn.
Okay, noticing that Josephine looks pretty hurt here, Misa will go ahead and bonus action cast a Guardian Dragonfly over towards Misa. Or, I'm sorry, over towards Josephine. And then she will once again try to call down throw some pouch dust, I should say, on the creature. But no, it does not seem to have any effect. And move to Josephine's turn.
Alright, so everyone seems to want me to get out of here.
Grab the rope.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my bonus action to summon my astral arm, so I make strength checks with wisdom instead of strength.
That does trigger as though there's an enemy nearby, so whatever roll you have to do for that.
Alright, so every time I say I'm gonna make an attack for this, but every time I forget. So this is just a under normal rules it would be a dexterity save for them against my spell save, and every time we click spell effect roll it doesn't work. So wisdom's 2, modifier +3, so I'll roll a d20 +5 to see if it hits it.
Okay, that works.
So here's the d20 and we'll add 5 to this. We're gonna miss, obviously.
Yes, and that's like a saving throw normally?
Yeah, it's a dex save.
Okay, so yeah, it would be a fumble, but it's not really a fumble thing. So
It's not something I feel like it's not something I can really fumble, narratively speaking. But so I still have the arms out, so then I will use my interact with object to grab the rope, and then I will hero point the athletics check. I think the easiest way to do this is just going to be to set my strength to be equal to my wisdom and then click athletics. Otherwise, this is going to be confusing.
Or just roll a d20 and we'll add your hero point.
Yeah, so I'll throw the hero point first. That's pretty good.
And
So
Finn,
now-
am I understanding you're holding on one hand with the other rope?
Yes, I got like wrapped around my forearm, and I look like a giant gnome helping my little friend.
All right, fair enough.
So blind check.
Yep.
It should calculate using my new
Make sure you
step.
have your token selected, though.
Oh fuck. Am I not? Oh, there it goes. Blind check.
Oh, it did not work again. Maybe it crashed. It did indeed. 1 second. Roll20 must be having some issues tonight.
For ease of play, we can say I succeed.
All right, you're good to go now.
Okay, so one more time.
Yes, please. Okay, so yes, with your hero point and holding on to this and pulling, you do indeed manage to break free.
Okay. And I still have my movement. Did I see where the thing attacked Finn from?
Where it so Finn was 5 feet southeast when it struck him last.
Okay. So if he was here, that means. So I'm gonna start moving away from this epicenter of flailing tentacles. If that's something I can do, trying to stay light on my feet as a monk.
Yeah, you seem able to do so.
5, 10, 15, 20. He was here. I don't think I can. Well, I do have the Misa buff.
I thought you were gonna say you have the Misa meat shield.
Well, I could in a minute here. But I'm gonna have to get back into melee range to help fight anyway, so I think I stay here, and then my team can help me, has a better chance of helping me if they need to. So it was my action to break free, it was my bonus action to summon the arms, and I've used my movement, so I think that's all I can do this turn.
Okay, yeah, if you're staying there, then we'll move to
I'm
Kirku.
staying there.
I wonder if it burns.
And remind me what it is exactly that you're aiming at?
I'll aim at the same spot that I hit with my magic missile last time.
So the ground, okay. So you
Yeah.
fire this, and it seems to hit onto this like chunk of rock, and the rock just gets kicked in the air a little bit. Seemingly has no effect.
How does one miss the ground, Bill?
I hit the ground. It has a shell. I don't know what this creature is.
Leave it to Bill to miss the ground.
I hit the ground. Literally.
I've got some stories for that, Jordan.
We might have another one here in a minute.
yeah.
You shush. You're trapped.
All right, Gorlami's turn.
Can I see the extent of how far out it goes, Adam? Like when it
No.
wavers and things?
Not at all. Like you see the tentacles moving, but you can't gauge exactly their reach or how far they're at. It's really hard to see all this as it's a very chaotic scene in the middle there.
If I move to here, can I see if Josephine is stuck or not?
She does not appear to be, no.
Okay, so I'm going to just move here. Are the tentacles in range of me if I'm here? Good.
Yes, and they were before as well.
Okay, cool. So as the tentacles are swinging around, I'm going to try to hold and then smack one with my hammer.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yes, you connect solidly with one of the tentacles as it flashes by.
I believe he
Nice.
still has that smite too.
I do, yes. So that... Let's see. The weapon flares and the attack deals an extra 1d6. So I think the damage for that was 6. Yep, steer.
All right, so
6.
go ahead and post damage. We'll add 6 fire damage on top of that.
And also, it is ignited in flames. Can we see it better now if it catches on fire?
I would say this tentacle seems to be alit with fire. As it gets sort of subsumed into the ground and then bursts back up, it seems to be just this single tentacle that is caught on fire.
Okay, I'm going to try to move back to where I was with Kurtu. So that was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I know I may incur attack.
You do
of
indeed. Go
opportunity.
ahead and give me a defensive roll, please.
Okay.
The tentacle manages to smash into you for 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
Math.
If you click on your token and then click into the green, you can just hit minus 16.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does all the math for you.
What?
And
That
you
is
succeeded
sick.
on your concentration check, so you are good to go there. Still concentrating on that Searing Smite.
Does it work in the inverse too? If I do +5, will it heal me?
It will,
Yes.
yes.
What? That's dope. All right, cool. It's reactions burn, guys.
And then
Yeah.
it gets it back immediately because its turn is next.
Before
that's true.
Finnegan's turn. All right,
Yeah.
Aomir, where you're standing here, you notice that the ground around you seems to separate as it tries to pull you in further. You are suddenly engulfed by this creature, and as you are,
Oh shit.
you feel that your body is covered by this ground. So you guys basically notice that the ground eats Aomir, and Aomir is now underneath the ground. All right, and then we move to Finnegan's turn.
Okay, I got one in my rope. Okay, now where's Aramir? He disappeared. All right, so I will free action. Just put the rope right down there, guys. So it's down. The drop as a free action. I'm going to move back to there. And I'm going to
As you
get
step
my
to there,
Zippo
Finn,
out.
you notice one of those tentacles flashes out towards you. I will need a defensive roll. All right, once again, you manage to duck underneath the slashing tentacle.
All right, and then I will Zippo the ground where I've been hitting it. So I'm just going to continue to do that. I think it's doing damage. Let me see my Zippo.
Yeah, your Zippo light flashes by, catches into like that bush area, and then hits into the larger rock, not striking into the ground.
Hey, Kurtu, I thought you.
Kurt, you would like to remind what you said last time when Kurt you hit rock.
I thought that was what we're hitting. I hit it exactly as I intended.
Kurt, you suggest that you should wait until you have a turn before laughing at Kurt.
Okay, Aomir, at the beginning of your turn, you currently cannot breathe as there's no oxygen around you. You are considered restrained, and it is totally dark in here as you are literally underneath the ground. You can feel like a sloshing around you as this liquid is coursing over your body, and it is very acidic in nature. You will suffer 11 points of acid damage from this.
Can I try to kind of push myself upward?
You can try to break free, yes. In this case, however, you can only make a strength check to do so. Go ahead and throw me a blind check, please. And this will be your action. You try to break free, thrusting your arms, trying to just make any kind of dent through this cake-like substance, but unfortunately, you are not able to break free.
All right. Guess that's my turn.
All right, on Miza's turn, she will once again throw some pouch dust. All right, and as the pouch dust descends down, it does indeed strike into the creature and seems to wound the ground here. And then we move to Josephine's turn.
Well, we gotta try to save our buddy. Is there anything close enough for me to hit?
The tentacles are certainly flashing around.
I probably can't run directly in there because that seems like a suicidal play. So I'm just gonna try to attack what's in front of me, if that's all right.
Meaning the one of the tentacles?
Yes.
Okay.
So whacking stick.
Nice. I'll
Whoa!
Double crit.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a... I believe that's bludgeoning for you, right?
Yes, it's the whacking stick. So bludgeoning crit.
All
True
right.
crit.
True crit. Yeah, go ahead and post that damage. We'll take them both. All right. Yeah, you smack into one of the
Nice.
tentacles solidly.
Okay. Second attack. Where am I? There I am. Now I'm gonna get 2 nat ones.
That will also
Impressive.
connect. All right, as you
So
hit
now-
the tentacle again, once again, you see it wiggles in response as though wounded.
And I'm gonna keep going with Flurry of Blows. So I'm gonna use my Astral Fists on this one. So here's 2 more attacks.
Connects.
This is force damage. And attack number 4.
Connects as well. Yes, you can see it solidly wounded from all those strikes.
Fucking kill it, guys! We gotta save our buddy! And it used its reaction already. No, I'm staying put. I might need to get to my friend very soon here.
Okay, Kurtu.
Oh, ouch. I hate to do this so right now since we're just starting, but I'm going to play Kurtu.
All right, and where exactly are you putting that? Remember how to do that with the smart AoE guy?
Yep, I think I just I have it in my bar and everything, but it's I don't see where it's pulling up the there it is.
So since this token is technically not visible, you won't have to apply it, but yeah, put it where you would like it to be, and then I will know who it hits.
There you go.
All right, so as that bursts forth, let me just double check.
I
that
don't
real quick.
plan on missing again.
All right, so this bursts forth. Go ahead and click on your token and throw me a spell effect roll, please. Yes, that will affect the ground and the creature as you notice that the rocks, the tentacles singe, the ground singes and burns, and yes, it seems to be fully effective.
Adam, was I affected by that?
You are not.
You have total cover, my dude.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was
Hoping,
so scared.
praying.
Yeah, I was so scared.
Okay.
Oh, I heard the music stuff and I thought we were done. It's just looping.
Gorlami's turn.
Looping.
Is it possible for us to see Eomir and where he's at, or
You
is
do
it
not
just
see
that
Eomir, no.
we just saw where he got sucked down?
Yeah, you saw the ground sort of like enfold around him and just absorb him into the ground.
Yeah, that seems like what Gorlami would do. He would say, "Stupid elf," and he would cast Cure Wounds on himself.
Okay, restoring 12 HP. And remind me, does Gorlami have Warcaster?
He does, yes.
Perfect. All right, good deal.
And he is going to move to here, Adam. That's 15 feet. And then he is going to launch himself in a long jump. And he will use his dash ability, his relentless endurance. I'm sorry, adrenaline rush is what it is, to give him the extra speed he needs to make the jump. But he will try to long jump that distance, that 20-foot distance to where Eomir was.
And what is your strength score?
18.
So as you attempt to launch from there to there, you manage to get here instead.
Okay, can I try before I'm congealed to like roll forward?
As you step there and try to move forward, you know, almost immediately your feet are suddenly stuck to the ground.
Okay, no worries. I am going to... Well, that is bonus action to run, action to heal. So I'm just going to try to like pull my shield up and hold steady and see if I can beat my way down to Eomir.
All right, before Finn's turn, the ground underneath begins to roil as it actually suddenly begins to move. And you can see this cake-like battery substance rolls and moves like to the west. You can see there are some lumps in this cake-like substance. You don't see Eomir, so I'm not going to move his tokens because you won't know exactly where he's at. However, Josephine, you realize that you are suddenly stuck as well. As it moves, you see these tentacles then begin to flash out, and I will need Gorlami to make a defensive roll, please.
Was that me?
I'm sorry?
It bleeped out. We couldn't hear the name. Who is making a defensive roll?
Oh, Gorlami.
Gotcha.
All right, Gorlami, as this tentacle flashes towards you, double checking that attack score real quick. Yes, you managed to evade that. A tentacle will then also flash towards Josephine.
Uh-oh. You luck? Nope.
Josephine is struck by the tentacle, suffering
I'm alive.
8 points of bludgeoning damage. A third tentacle flashes out towards Kurtu. Kurtu, defensive roll, please. Kurtu is struck by one of these tentacles for 12 points of bludgeoning damage, and we move to Finnegan.
Guys, we're in a lot of trouble! Well, first thing I'm going to do is look at this. Yeah. So I get my tuning fork out again. I'm going to pop another healing word. Boom! You hear that tone to Josephine? I'm going to level 2 it.
All right, 8 to Josephine.
The parody.
And then action, Zippo the ground. We're hitting it. I guess it's definition of insanity, but let's keep going.
And where on the ground are you trying to strike?
The same area I feel like I've hit before.
The same area you feel... Okay, now I got to do some math here real quick. Hang on. Okay, yeah, so your fire bolt strikes into it, and once again, you see the ground there does seem to get singed.
Okay, Maiza, be careful, that thing's moving. Is it? I saw it rolling towards me too, right?
You did, yes.
I'm gonna go 5, 10, 15. Action, bonus action, move.
Okay, Eomir, at the start of your turn, still engulfed. You will suffer 19 points of acid damage.
Alright, I'm gonna fight my way out of it.
Okay, once again, trying to break free. Go ahead and give me a blind strength check as you try to break free. But unfortunately, once again, you are unable to do so. All right, Misa takes your warning here, Finnegan, and she is actually going to disengage and move. Pushing through the brush. Okay, Josephine's turn. Josephine, you realize you are stuck to the ground here.
I'm not going to be able to go anywhere.
And there's a rope at your feet.
Well, I mean, she
is there, or
pulled
do
her yeah, I would say no, because she pulled herself out, and then the ground moved. So you probably notice the rope. I would say you probably are going to see kind of lying like. Well, you can't see that. It's basically lying over in this area, and then just goes into the ground right about here.
Okay.
So that's not going to help. So I think we just have to. Josephine thinks she just has to try to kill this thing. Is there. The lumps you were describing, are those the places that were getting hit hard, or is that just like roiling soil, we can't tell anything?
You would maybe get the impression that something was in the ground that was lumpy.
Was there only one, or were there multiple?
Just one.
That might be Aomir then, so maybe I don't want to hit that part. But it's all around me, right? I can tell that the creature is beneath me, or all around.
You saw the ground roll up upon you, so you're pretty sure it's all around you. But again, when you look at it visually, no, it just looks like normal ground.
Then I'm going to start smashing away at
And what
the
exactly
ground.
are you... So the ground, and which area of the ground?
If the creature was going west, where did the tentacle come out that hit me?
Tentacles are all around you, moving very rapidly. You could certainly target a tentacle if you wished.
Did it seem like that did anything, though?
It did seem to, yes.
Alright, well, I'll just swing out at the things that are swinging at me then, so whatever I can reach.
All right, yeah, so the tentacles are flashing about. You try to strike them.
So, first attack.
Does not connect as the tentacle is too fast.
Second attack.
Yeah, that manages to connect. Did you
Nine.
smash into the tentacle and it wiggles?
Does the tentacle look bloodied?
Nope, you don't see any blood on the tentacles. It just kind of reverberates from the force of the strike.
I have to try to protect myself. I'm doing patient defense again. So spending a third key point here to try to survive this next round.
Okay.
And I'm stuck, so I can't move, so that's it.
All right, Kurtu.
Ah!
I'm gonna do the Draconic Cry there. Hopefully, it's within distance. Can I see where you said everything was shifting and everything, Adam? Was I able to kind of tell where the movement was?
It was from the east going west, but it's very disorienting because it moves and then suddenly it looks like ground again. So I'd say you saw it move past Josephine, but now as you look, it just looks like normal ground.
And where is the tentacle that smacked me earlier?
All around. So basically the tentacles with their reach, you can think of the tentacles flashing in this general vicinity, right? So pretty wide range. You probably couldn't
But
see
it's
that
coming
either.
it's coming from the ground though, right? Right
Yes.
near me. So, okay.
It's coming from
So
the ground to your east, yes.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Draconic Cry. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a spell. It's just going to be a firebolt.
And what are you targeting? A tentacle?
Yes.
All right, yes, the tentacle is indeed singed. Go ahead and post damage. All right, yes, indeed, it is singed.
Almost outstanding, except like not. Okay. And I'll end my turn.
Okay, Gorlami currently stuck.
Adam, that Searing Smite that I hit, I don't think we've rolled any damage or con saves for him on the start of his turn? That tentacle that's still flapping around?
Go ahead and post that one for me again. It would be a spell effect from you to see if it hurts him.
Yeah. If target or creature...
Okay, yeah, go ahead and throw a spell effect roll, and we'll see if you need to throw a d6 on it. Yeah, so go ahead and throw a d6, and I'll apply that damage.
Perfect. Okay, and then when you said there was like when it moved and we could see a lump in it, and then you said it was only one lump. Can I get a idea of where that lump is?
Once you see it move, like you can see a lump. Again, think of it as like cake batter, right? It's moving towards you. You can see a big lump in it, and then suddenly there's just ground again. Then it moves, big lump, and suddenly there's just ground again. So based on memory, you feel like that lump is very close to you.
Okay. Okay, so based on memory, where I'm going to take my, let's say like the end of my shield, and I kind of want to like bury it into the ground and kind of like scrape and see if I can find Eomir. Because I got my hands full. I actually, you know what? Free action. Let me stow my hammer, and then I'm going to take my hand and reach into where I believed Eomir was and see if I can grab him and yank him free.
Give me a blind athletics check as you try to break through the cake batter ground into the lumpy area and see if what's inside.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to hero point punch this, and I'm going to sound like a hero while I do it. Ah! And then blind check. My hero points have sucked tonight.
You punch into the ground, breaking through some loose piece, and sure enough, you see part of a shoulder.
Yank. I'm going to try to pull him.
All right, so his action to break through the ground, so unfortunately you'll need to wait till next turn to try to grapple and pull him out.
Okay, then let me bonus action. I'm gonna healing word, and now that I can see his shoulder and I got a hold of it, I think I can target him with it.
That'll work, yeah.
Level 3, big boy.
Nice. Okay, so Eomir is restored for 12 HP.
I've got him. I can get him out. Keep smacking it.
Just quick FYI, Eomir, it looks like you set yourself to 12 instead of adding 12, so give yourself 4 more. Before Finnegan's turn is the creature's turn. So, yes, let's see. So, Gorlami, go ahead and give me a defensive roll at disadvantage. Yes, one of these tentacles smacks into you solidly for 13 points of damage. And then Josephine, defensive roll on you, patient defense. This should be a flat roll. Nice.
He fumbles it.
Well, actually, this is his second attack, so it can't be a
fumble. Oh, that's true.
But yes, you easily evade this. And then Kurtu, same for you. Defensive roll, please. Kurtu, you are struck as well for 14 points of bludgeoning damage. And it also needs to make that save again. So Gorlami, give me a spell effect roll. And it succeeds this time, so the spell effect ends on it. It suffers no damage, and we move to Finnegan.
Hang on to him! Hang on to him, Gore! I'll move 5, 10, 15 to there. Let me do a measure. Okay, I gotta move 20.
And just as a reminder, in case this matters, I don't think I was paying much attention, but just remember everyone has advantage on attack rolls.
You might think so, but no, they do not.
Most of us are
okay.
probably attacking at disadvantage because we're stuck.
Yeah, or it wasn't within 10 feet or something like that. Who knows?
Okay, so I move 20 to there. Don't let go of him, Gore! And I take like this dart thing and I throw it at Gore, hits him right on the shoulder, and out pops from the shoulder is a little pinwheel thing.
And that was on Gorlami, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and then that should distract him. I hope. I'll move back. I got 10 more feet of movement. to there. So
As
that's...
you step to there, I will need a defensive roll, please.
Oh, sorry. Derp, 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 derp. Wrong button. Sorry.
Once again, yes, you are able to notice when it comes, and that will be considered a fumble, as this is an opportunity attack. So go ahead and roll a melee fumble.
It falls over and hits its head and ends the fucking...
It becomes visible.
All right, so unfortunately, the creature is immune to being prone, so that won't affect it, but its speed will get reduced to 0. However, Finnegan, as you are caught up with this tentacle, you'll have to make a dexterity check, so not a save, just click on your dexterity score. The word dexterity on your character sheet, I should say. All right, yes, you managed to avoid being knocked prone yourself.
All right, so I still have an action left. So that, right? Let's see, bonus action was Sanctuary, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, action is going to be Zippo! I'm going to hero point this on the thing that hit me.
On the tentacle, okay?
Boom.
Nice, that will be a critical. Go ahead and roll a fire critical. Okay, true crit. Go ahead and post that damage.
One of nat 20s on this.
All right, whoa.
Look at those. Those are all...
Holy shit.
Wow, he got 2 10s for his damage. How about that?
Gertrude's impressed.
Flanagan, as your
That's a-
firebolt strikes the tentacle, the fire seems to consume it, stretching into the ground, coursing through all around you guys. As you can see, this area suddenly lights up just momentarily as this creature that is underneath all of your feet, or at least those of you that are there at the moment, is suddenly revealed as its outline. This cake-like batter is singed badly and seemingly destroyed.
Holy shit, dude.
Nice hit. I'm gonna like
Very
yank
nice.
Eomir free before it kind of like the fire goes over him. I'm gonna say like, "Hey, are you alive, elf?" Nice, Finn. You got him. He's good.
That's a good cantrip hit.
What the hell is that?
That just saved the elf, I think.
So, Doc, what happened?
The small one saved your life. That was incredible, Finn. Great shot.
Wow, the Zippo's cool. No, you save him. Get him over here. Is he all right? I'll run up. Are we out of combat?
We are
I
indeed,
sure
yeah.
fucking hope so.
Yeah. So as like Gorlami's kind of like trying to drag me along, I'm just gonna like, no, I'm fine. What happened? The ground. The ground, and I take like an arrow and like stab the ground.
Yeah, it's gone. It was some kind of creature.
You're kidding.
You know what? I'm coming around to the whole gnomes can do anything philosophy. That was really cool.
Oh, I just got lucky. It's so good we all made it. Okay, but that thing is incredibly powerful. What's it defending or doing?
Adam, do I see like is there like a creature that comes up?
No.
And we can...
No, but you can see this residue, this like cake batter remainder is easily distinguishable from the ground now. So where before it just seemed to meld into the ground perfectly, now you can actually see this outline of where it was. The edges kind of quiver and roll up a bit as though the creature is no longer able to retain or maintain this form. Yes, it looks very odd indeed. I would say anybody proficient in Arcana here can make a blind skill check if they want to see if they can recognize what this may have been. Finn, you don't recall anything like this, at least nothing specific.
Never had the ground attack me before.
Kurtu,
crazy.
what in the world is this thing you don't know?
It's a sand monster.
Well, look, before we go and fight a bunch of orcs, I think we should probably, get these wounds healed up.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Good you didn't die.
usually a good thing, yeah.
I don't want to be too disgusting, but is there a way to, like, look inside of its maw to see if it ain't anybody else?
Well, the elf looks pretty... Eomer looks pretty worse for wear, so whatever else it ate is probably long dissolved by now.
Probably.
Well, that
I don't really
reminds
want
me.
to go in there.
I can take the food icon off Amir's. He's no longer lunch.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, can we get that stomach off of me? That'd be great.
We did get the stomach... Well, Gorlami got the stomach off of you, after a fashion.
I almost jumped right on top of you.
I had it. I was.
You had it, my ass. You are drowning.
You were keeping it occupied.
Yeah, Aemir gives Gorlami like a hearty laugh, as dwarven custom.
Everybody is okay. We do have some orcs to kill, though, so how about we post up, catch our breath? Maybe Finn, you make us some food. No fire. Don't want to signal our arrival or anything.
Hey Adam, by chance, obviously when we came over here, the illusion thing happened and everything. Is there any other illusion or anything that appears or disappears?
No, not that you see, but as you're looking around, you're pretty confident that this is actually not where Conyberry was. It's in this area, you know that just from talking to people in town, but you realize this obviously could not have been it.
I wonder if the creature, like, was magical and, like, created something for us to come to.
Could be, but we're still looking for that. It's an actual city, though. The city is real.
Right, but this spot may not be.
Yeah, that's true. We still need to find it. You know, that's valid. Well, Ymir, you catch your breath and then figure it out. I mean, you've roamed around these areas.
I've never seen anything that turned ground into cake before.
Yes, but we're okay now. It's behind us. Well, beside us, technically, but you know what I mean.
Do we just want to rest here since we know we're safe now? There's the bat. He's dead. It's gone.
Well, hold on. Let me go look.
Did you guys notice the DM just rolled? I mean, I'm just that. Maybe we should run away.
Yeah, I totally agree. Adam, is there, wherever we are, I apologize, I missed it, but wherever we are, is there anywhere that I can check that might be safe?
Safety is, of course, relative, so it depends on what you mean by safety. You do notice Misa investigating the edges of this cake batter type material, and you see she kind of looks around and seems to be putting on her thinking cap, and then she turns back towards Finn and she says, "Oh, I think I get it. It could make itself look like the ground, and where better to be than at an intersection? It's like it was lying in wait for food."
Well, that's kind of what I assumed. But, yeah, you know what they say about making assumptions.
I think I've heard of this before. They're called dune mimics.
Dune mimics.
It was a pretty shitty mimic then, because that was not much of a dune.
Oh,
I've seen some
that's
dunes in my
right.
time.
I've heard of them too. They can mimic things in dunes. Yeah, that's right. I think you're right.
You usually hear stories about them in the desert, but I wonder why one was here. It seemingly looked enough like the ground here, this path, to fit in, but I wonder where it came from.
Like everything, I assume the dragon pushed it out of its normal home. I mean, if you've heard of them before, like near deserts, then I assume there's a desert close or something, right? I mean...
But there's a lot of weird
Is
stuff
there?
going on. Like the dragon can cast spells it used to... I don't know dragons casting. And this thing's here. And there's been the green rain. There's just all kind of odd stuff.
Based on you guys' knowledge, I would say you don't know of any nearby deserts.
a long way from home. Any possibility that someone or something could conjure something like this? Is it like native to a different plane of existence that it could be summoned from?
Well, there always is magic, of course. I mean, anything's possible with magic.
Yeah, must be nice.
Yeah, well, those orcs had spellcasters. We saw that thing back at the manse.
Yeah, and that the dragon, he just made some magical ice even or something to attack us.
Well, it's some of those little ice mosquito
Yeah.
things.
Ice mosquitoes, you're right.
Well, I don't think we should stay where it was conjured. Perhaps maybe we could move a few 100 feet up or something and pull off to the side and catch our breath.
Sure. I'd feel better if we had our big strong barbarian to lead us, but it's not an option right now, so we'll take a breather somewhere safe.
Yeah, it is noticeable when she's gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Amir, so you said you want to try to look for something that is safety. Give me a rough idea of what you mean by safe.
General like camp ideas, right? Like under like a copse of trees that seem unlike cakey substance, or maybe like a small cave, something like that.
Okay, sure.
Just try to avoid a cave mimic or a tree mimic.
Go ahead and throw me a blind check for survival to see what you can find in this area.
And
I'll help him.
And bugs, no bugs.
well, you know what? I was gonna say I'm gonna use a hero point because I should have used one before.
You can do that, sure.
So
You
I
get-
just hit dice.
Nope, on your
Oh, hero
character sheet,
point.
the
Yep,
top
yep,
tag.
yep.
Am I able to help him, Adam?
You can, yes.
Survival check, yeah. Don't fuck this up, Victor. I've
Yeah.
really stacked the deck in your favor here.
Yeah, I know. Just give
So,
us some more safe,
Eomir,
Adam, please.
as you examine the nearby area, you walk a distance of maybe perhaps 30 minutes or so looking for something good, and you notice down in the hill area you do find what appears to be a little natural cave. Not very big, maybe 10 feet deep, but it certainly gets you out of the elements, and nobody would see you unless they were right on top of you.
Hell fucking yeah, boys. hole up.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I guess once I find it, I'll like pull the party in, and then I'll just kind of relax on the wall of the cave.
Before we set up, can I check for signs of like habitation or animals or anything? And-
You can, yes. Go ahead and give me a blind check.
Okay, I'm sorry, where are my token? It's bottom left?
On this one,
Bottom
yes,
left.
bottom left. No, you don't see any obvious signs of habitation or any obvious dangers here.
Alright, we're good, boys.
Hey, Josephine, do you think I didn't check already?
Yeah, I do think that. You walked right into that and got swallowed.
Hey,
Very true.
This is a cool cave. What kind of cave is it? Cave is it? Does it go far?
It does
Sure.
not. As you investigate it, looks like it's only about 10 feet deep. The walls here do look to be a bit porous, though, meaning you can notice some very small, little like tunneling seemingly going on here.
I'm gonna, if it's only 10 feet, I'm gonna search for stuff. Maybe someone,
Mushrooms.
refuge. Yeah, I
Mushrooms
don't know,
grow in
anything.
caves. I know you like to cook. See if you can find some.
Yeah.
Give me a blind check as you search around the cave for anything of interest. No, it seems to be empty of anything other than just shelter.
Oh, all right. Now, can I start a fire or not?
No, we don't want to give anything away about our group moving in that direction. If there are orcs there, then a smoke line will let them know someone's coming. We don't need it. Are you cold? Here.
No, I was
Blanket.
I don't need a coat. I was gonna try to cook something.
Oh, I can light a torch. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do the torch thing. I think you guys pretty much used up my last treats I gave you. I'm sure, right?
I had got 1 temporary hit point, so yeah, it's a safe assumption. Hilariously enough, I did fall to 1 HP in that fight. So
How about that?
that did matter.
All right, so I presume you guys are just trying to get basically a short rest in here, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
gonna make 4 treats out of. I have 7 left, so I'll make 4.
And that's part of completing a short rest, right?
Yes, as during. I mean, reread it. Oh, dogs want to let you know as part of a short rest. Yep.
Okay, so as you guys spend about 30 minutes in this cave, just trying to catch your breath, keeping your eyes open, and Finn is in the process of cooking some food, you suddenly can hear the sound of an echoing voice coming from one of these very small holes. It almost sounds like a question, though it's quiet. You can't really make out exactly what it is.
Like in the cave?
Yes.
Is it in a language we understand?
Yes, I would say common. Like you can hear almost just think of it as like you were hearing someone speaking through cupped hands, perhaps, but it's far away. It seems to be coming from these holes in the cave wall, but you can't hear it because your ears aren't real close to the holes.
I'm going to. Oh my gosh, what was that? And I flip out my wand, hit the button, and I'm gonna do wand of magic detection.
Detect magic. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Do you have that listed? If not, I'll just look it up real quick. I'm just curious to see if this will be affected.
Yeah, I don't have it listed. I'm sorry.
All right, no worries. Let me just SRD that. No, I'm going to say you do not detect magic in this vicinity. Reminder that it's blocked by a foot of stone, inch of common metal, or a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Okay, so my thing's beeping and spinning in my hand. I'm not detecting anything.
I'll stand up and put my ear against the wall, see if I can hear, or one of the holes, and see if I can hear and make out what it's saying.
And you hear this very soft voice seemingly echoing through the small hole in the cave wall. 2 bodies have I, though both joined in one. The more still I stand, the quicker I run. What am I?
Ooh.
Stupid riddle. It's a riddle.
Can you put that in module text?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
was
can.
gonna ask. Yeah.
Actually, I'll just post it right here in Roll20 so anybody that's watching will be able to see.
Two rivers going into the ocean.
I'm not good with riddles. This was not something I did.
And after
Was
everybody
he
has
the
an
only?
opportunity...
Was he the only one who heard it?
Yes. So if anybody's listening or you're sharing this, again, riddles usually have a out-of-character component. So if you figure it out yourself, sometimes that's fun. But obviously your characters will have knowledge as well. So once you guys have a moment to see if you know what it is, you can see if your characters have any clues. Essentially, this is based off intelligence.
Yeah, I was trying to play my character because I have very bad intelligence, so I'll repeat it to everybody.
Okay, I'm not hearing any particular answers right away. So if anybody...
Still thinking.
Okay, and if anybody wants to try to get a hint here, you can throw a blind check on intelligence. If you roll high enough, then I will let you know.
Do we need any particular proficiency, or?
Nope, this is just straight up intelligence check.
I'm gonna use inspiration.
Okay.
You want 2 rolls then, I guess, right?
Nope, it gives me both of them. So, basically, you rolled high enough for me to just give you the answer here, Finn. So, would you prefer me just tell you what it is, or do you want me to try to give you a hint that may help you?
Give me a hint, because I kind of like riddles. I'm not good at them, but I really enjoy them.
Timekeeping device.
Oh, the sand.
I think I know out of character. Yeah.
It's the sand time thing.
That is correct. The official name of that is
Hourglass.
hourglass. Yes.
Yeah.
Sand time thing. Yes, I had one of those with my abacus.
Oh, guys! Hourglass!
I'll turn my mouth.
Hourglass? Like
Jesus.
in my cup? Our cup? What do you mean?
Oh, move. Hourglass!
I'll pick him up. Say it in the hole.
As you say this down the hole, you hear almost what sounds like a little bit of a shifting, and as you're, speaking, you suddenly see this kind of dust just flashes out and just hits you in the face, Finn. You kind of do one of these, and you can see that those of you guys around can see that Finn seems to be covered with a little bit of sparkly dust on his face.
Ugh.
I don't know if winning was a good thing.
Thought we were supposed to be resting. Here
You
we
know,
are.
Back in Sundabar, we had an anthrax invasion. It started just like that.
Hey,
Is the
Adam,
cape-
I'm sorry. Is my face
Go ahead.
glowing with my magic wand and magic detection?
You can't see your own face, so I don't know.
I'm looking at my nose. I can close my eye right now and see the left side of my
You
nose.
probably do see a little bit of a flash.
It's magical. And do I get a school?
Transmutation.
Oh no, guys! It's transmutation. What if I'm turning into a frog?
What if you get taller?
Whoa, that would be
I feel
cool.
like if you got the riddle right, it should be a good thing, no?
Depends on who gives the riddle, I mean. Thanks. I'm gonna shout down the hole.
Is the cave quiet now?
It is, yes.
Doesn't seem to hurt you. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I look funny though. Oh, I feel fine. Do I? You kind of gave it to me, Adam, but do
I would say that knowledge sort of creeps into your mind after
Okay.
you're kind of like sniffing and the little sparkly stuff is kind of starting to fade away. You go, oh,
Oh, I am starting to. I'm dipping into my Arcana skill. Yeah, I could do something once a day. Once and then it's gone. That's neat. I'll surprise you
What
guys.
do you mean?
I'll surprise you.
Can you surprise me with something to eat? I am famished. Did you finish that up? What is that?
Right. He claps his hands. Let's go. Let's eat.
all right. And with the rest of the rest in the cave here, the short rest passes uneventfully. So I will apply a short rest to you guys, but as a reminder to our house rule, go ahead and set your HP to max.
When can I get my key back? Meditating on a short rest for at least 30 minutes.
You would indeed, yes.
Sweet.
All right, so with the short rest complete, and I assume Finn has handed out these treats. Now, these aren't the temp HP, right? These are like eat them kind of things?
Yeah, these are the temp HP that I need to cook during a short rest. And so they're 1d8s, and I made 4 of them. So I'm giving it to people who have lost their temp HP.
Okay, so reminder for anybody that still has their temp HP, if you eat this, then you only take the higher of the 2.
Okay, well I know Josephine needs one, and I know Eomi
I'm sorry,
needs one.
this is the D8, or is this something
The
else?
D8, the D8.
I thought the other one was a D8. Or did you do it again?
No, so the D8's a short rest. The long rest is the temp, and I haven't temp is the treats. It's just 3 temp HP. I haven't given those out yet.
I think didn't we roll at the beginning of this session though with treats?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah, we
had...
did, but
I thought we did D8s as part of a long rest, so I'm confused.
Okay, so no, so you gain part of a short rest, and I did this before we went to Coneyberry. That's why you guys got the D8s. It's a short rest. You can or spend an hour. You can cook food, a number of creatures equal to 4 plus. And it's a 1d8 and it's temp. The other treats are just sort of at the end of a long rest. I make those, and I have not handed those out.
Okay, so technically you would have had to spend an hour or spend one of your short rests already for the first time. So I think it's been, days already, so that's fine. But moving forward, if you're going to use this, let's make sure it's actually takes up one of the short rests.
I imagine if we're traveling for 4 days, we would be resting.
Yeah, that's what I say. In this period of time, it didn't really matter, but there's going to be some times where technically it will become important. So
yeah.
So today, this is one of your short rests that you've spent.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so who got some? We have Gorlami, Kurtu, Josephine, and Aramir.
So, right, and so a reminder on that one too, Finn. So you've cooked your treats, but remember, those would be gone now because they only last 8 hours. So in order to prepare those, you would need to get another long rest to prepare them because they only last for 8 hours.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll take those minor treats away, but the things I cook is a short rest deal.
Right, those are good to go.
Yeah. Hey, Aramir, roll your D8, bud.
Did we lose him?
No.
Oh, there he goes.
Okay.
Okay, so safe to say that once this is wrapped up, you guys are going to continue making your way to where you believe this shrine is, or do you want to try to find true Coneyberry?
I think we're just going to go to the shrine, right? I mean, because that's where we've been told everything is, unless you guys have something other than that. I just want to go smash some orcs.
Well, yeah, that's what I was confused, because we were actually marching off to war, and we get distracted to go to Coneyberry. It ended up being an illusion, but we were distracted. If we're going to war, let's go to war. And now we've expended spell slots and stuff, so...
Alright, so I'm hearing try to find the shrine and ignore Coneyberry. Any disagreements with that?
What were we told about Coneyberry? Anything?
It was a town that was abandoned years ago. It was sacked by some barbarians, and it's just ruins now.
Sounds like there's nothing of interest there, so I agree with going to the shrine.
Alright, you guys exit out of this cave and continue traveling. So, as a reminder, you guys traveled for about 5-ish hours to get to where you are here. You guys continue traveling and spend another hour, so spend about 6 hours. You're kind of following the range of the hills and the mountains, using those as a guide. Continue traveling, and eventually you find what presumably is this shrine that has been told to you. So you guys have traveled for a good 7 hours today. Reminder that you can travel for 8 hours before you start to risk exhaustion after that. So as you are on the outskirts of this shrine, I'm going to say you're a good couple hundred yards away at this point. Yeah. And as
I think I would want to plan, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just want to give you a real brief idea of what you're seeing off in the distance. So off in the distance, you can see what appears to be like a ruined wall that would surround this shrine, and then a center building that is higher than the wall. So you can make out this central building and see it has sort of like a belfry and a bell tower built up ahead. But again, you're like 300 yards away from it, and I assume it's straight to your south.
What time of day? We've been traveling for 7 hours, so is it like evening time-ish?
It's still mid-afternoon. You guys usually leave in the morning, so you figure it's probably about like 3-4 p.m. now.
Someone suggested we wait for nightfall?
I think so. I mean,
Post a watch.
some of us can't see in the dark, though. That would be an issue, obviously.
Right, but is there, looking at this shrine, we said it's still a few hundred yards away. Is there, from the direction we're coming, is there any way we might be able to approach without being seen? Or is it just like open plains?
I mean, it's hilly. You could try to use the hills to the south. Let me give you this brief description of what you're seeing from the distance. A ruin stands in the middle of a vast field north of the rocky foothills of the Sword Mountains. An old stone temple with a belfry jutting from its peaked roof is enclosed by stone walls, many sections of which have collapsed. The trail ends at a crumbling gatehouse, the doors to which were sundered long ago. 3 of the 4 towers that once stood at the corners of the outer walls have collapsed. Only the northeast tower remains, and that's it.
Wait, who among us can't see in the dark? I see a kobold who are underground, gnomes who are underground. We have an elf, an orc, and me with my goggles.
I'm sorry, I played more than one campaign. My other group can't see in the dark at all.
Sucks to be them. But, yeah, do we maybe just want to watch it for a bit, see if anyone comes and goes?
Yeah, any
Or-
guards or anything? Yeah, I like that. And then if we can see in the dark, we might be able to get an advantage on them.
All right, as you guys watch it from a distance for a little while, you do spot a guard up in that northeast tower. It seemingly is an orc. You can see sort of a greenish tint of the skin as you're quite a distance away trying to look, and this looks to be a lookout type person, so you're presuming that if you get anywhere close to this person will likely see you.
Okay, but dark vision has its limits, so if we sneak in at night... You said it was the northeast tower? Is there
Yes.
anyone else in the other towers?
So only the northeast tower remains intact. The other 3 look to be destroyed.
Okay, so if we approach from the southwest, he can't see that far at night unless they light a bunch of torches. And if they light a bunch of torches, we might be able to get a drop on him anyway. So,
What do you think? I mean, it sounds like a good idea. Their disadvantages are our disadvantages, and
right, but we know he's up there. They don't know about us yet. So we can avoid the lookout tower and sneak around and they won't know we're coming.
I see where you're going with this, yes. And, my experience with orcs, we've done a few raids, but usually they hang out in like little cubbies. There's like a couple here, then a couple there, usually by a fire or meat of some sort.
Right. Just so I also want to point out that we've been traveling for a long time today. If we go in there tonight, we better be damn sure we can clear it out because we're not running away from these people. They're gonna catch us. So
I feel good. How do you feel, Kurtu? Magic-wise, you good? Boosted?
I mean, I could probably cast another fireball. I got some other tricks up my sleeve. And remember, I can always cast invisibility on a couple people if that's what we choose to do.
Did you just say visibility?
Invisibility, not visibility. The visibility, that's the opposite.
Yeah. Aemir kind of smirks. I know. It was jokes.
do we get I'm sorry. Do we get an impression? I know we might be way too far away for this, but do we get an impression of how big this shrine is? Like, how big is it from like side to side, like yard wise? Is this like a fortress, or is this just like a little hovel thing?
Let's see. From side to side, maybe about, you said yards, maybe 50 yards from
You can give me feet if it's easier.
150 feet from east to west. And probably similar north to south. So, yeah, about 150 foot square.
Okay. To cast a spell, how... I know it has to be audible, but like how far away could someone be and hear a spellcaster if they're making a regular incantation?
So you have to speak at a regular speaking voice, not a whisper, not even quiet, right? Like just like I'm speaking now. So it depends on how much other noise there is. Right now, as you're standing here at night, you're obviously hearing the sound of like animals occasionally, insects, that kind of thing. So you don't think from 150 feet or 200, 300 feet away that anything in there would hear you. But obviously if there's any kind of visual display, it might light up or something like that. They might be able to
Sure.
spot that.
What I'm trying to get at is if we were to say infiltrate from the southwest and someone were to cast a spell, like if there's a group of orcs hanging out in that corner, do we think that a group of orcs hanging out in the top right corner would notice? They'd probably notice like if it had like a big boom, like if we set off a fireball, I'm pretty sure the whole fucking camp is gonna be woken up, but
Yeah, so like shouting, for example, like if one person was alerted and somebody shouted inside this ruin, you assume that anybody in that area would all hear that.
okay. So basically we can possibly get the drop on one group unless they're all grouped together, in which case it's kind of moot. And in which case a fireball would be quite effective. So
Yeah, we engage a small group, draw the others to us, boom. But we need to keep our range at range, you know. We gotta be smart. I mean, Bryn is back at the inn. We're losing some of our upfront personnel, you know, between, and I look at Eomir, Kurtu, and Finn. All of you are, you know, ranged fighters, a little farther away. So we got to be smart about how we really give ourselves away to attack.
Well, I'll tell you, if I know Bryn, she's probably right behind us. She's probably just like a day back behind. She wants to fight. I'm sure she's
That's-
gonna catch up.
She probably sobered up quickly.
Well, you did leave her that note, right?
Yeah,
Kurtu?
no, yeah.
You wrote the note, didn't you, Kurtu? You left it.
She's probably saw the fireball. The last one we cast.
we did spend a few hours fapping about in that cave, so if she were to have left Phandalin of her own volition, she might be able to get here by the next session time. If we were to wait until nightfall.
Maybe we wait until not just nightfall, but early morning night. You know, like let them get good and rested and sleepy, and their watches change a couple times, and they think they're safe, and then boom, early morning raid.
A road mimic has killed Bryn.
All right, guys, we are at the end of our session time here, but it sounds like the plan is to try to enter this area from the southwest, see what you see, and then kind of move in from there.
I would like to wait a while still, unless it's like...
Yeah, I think.
It's already super late.
I agree.
No, it's only like 3:30, 4 o'clock at this point, so you want to
Oh,
wait until
absolutely not.
nightfall?
We're waiting for... I think we have to wait for nightfall, or
least-
the sentry is going to see us.
Yeah, like midnight, I think is a good raid time. You know what I mean?
I was thinking 3 a.m.
That would be good too.
So it
12
sounds
hours.
like we're waiting anywhere between 8 to 12 hours before you guys actually make your way in. So again, I'll assume
Yeah,
you're
we
just
should-
scouting.
Yeah, we should back off, I think, and then re-engage when it's most advantageous for us. When like half of them are asleep, that would give us a round or two to deal with the front line before the rest come to their aid.
No, what we could do is, while it is still light, we could maybe have Kurtu cast invisibility on like Eomir and send him to go scout invisibly, get a good count, positioning maybe, and then come back. I mean, it lasts an hour, right, Kurtu?
I think I can manage that.
What happens if they have some way of detecting him?
Then Eomir's fucked. But I mean,
He's been
Does-
fucked before.
Does Eomir agree with this plan? Does Eomir have any input?
I mean, if we had what was her name? Catherine? What was her name? The one that looked like a cat? Was it Kat? That's ironic. She would have been good at sneaking.
She would have been very good at sneaking. She had expertise in stealth.
Yeah.
That's
But
too
we
soon.
don't have that anymore.
Too soon.
It's
Still
too
too soon.
soon.
Yeah, yes, it's still too
soon.
I never met her. I only read about her.
Yeah, she was pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, I like Cat.
Reggie seemed to enjoy her crossbow. But maybe next week we'll talk about whether or not we send a scout first, see if we can get a count on enemies.
Okay, guys, well, that's where we will hang it up then. So perhaps we will be sending a scout in to get a check on the numbers of enemies here. Otherwise, it sounds like just approach from the southwest. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we'll have our full group back next week, and maybe Bryn will have managed to make her way here. Either way, we will see the results of this exchange next week. Hope everybody had fun tonight. Have a great night, everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night, everybody.
Same. Enjoy, people. Have a good week.
Great job with the town, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, it was a great
we
session.
accomplished a lot.
Indeed. All right, great night, everyone.